Hello, my friends in the film fandom, wherever you may be and however you may be watching. Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time. On tonight's show, we've got the wrap-up for Season 3 of The Mandalorian. Twister's getting a new person who's jumped out of the cockpit to take care of some tornadoes. And apparently we are on the verge of getting a big addition to the MCU. And here to talk about all that stuff with me are my absolute badass co-hosts, starting with the Dowager Countess Lady Cora. How are you doing tonight, ma'am?
I'm fantastic. Life is good. All is well.
Are you still on the western part of the country?
No, sadly, I'm currently in South Dakota, but I did get a new computer yesterday, so...
Oh, that's tight.
I don't know how to use it yet, but I'm on it!
That's all right. You're here and we can hear you speaking, so that's the important part. We've got two of the most important.
Fortunately for Tex, he has to hear me.
And of course, my hetero life mate Jeremy. What do you got going on today, my brother?
Well, I mean, I'm here and I'm also obviously in uniform because, and I love that people on the internet never understand, like, when you wear the same shirt, it's like, do they never do laundry? Lol. Like, no, I do, and it's called, well, in most things you record a lot of things and chop it up, and you're usually wearing the same shirt. But you know what? They never take it off, so I always had it in everything, and I do laundry. So shut up and leave me alone. I don't know what that was, but there you go.
Yeah, leave him alone, damn it. He's in uniform. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
And of course, the shape from the Lone Star State, our man down south, our man Tex. What's up, brother?
Jeremy, if this is shirt wars, I think I'll win because mine beats yours. So just
I
don't know how that
Mike Myers. I don't know.
I don't think that cute little kitchen knife is going to stab through a Beskar arm.
But Michael Myers don't need some trash can on his head with some cultish way of life like your people live. You weirdo Mandalorian.
Horror with Star Wars.
No.
I'm pretty sure.
In a world of Jedis and Mandalorians, Sith like myself outrule you. So just go back to your cave, and we're going to rule the galaxy. All right, that's what we're going to do here.
You know what? We'll go find Busta Rhymes and put him in a Mandalorian suit. That kung fu will kick your ass. It'll be easy. Boom.
Hey, we don't talk about that one. All right, we don't talk about that one. That is fighting below the belt, sir. We don't discuss such things. But what's up, y'all?
Before we start an intergalactic war between the Mandalorians and the inhabitants of the city of Mandalore,
the dark side of the Force will have its way. That's all I'm saying. All right, just be prepared.
Lady Cora, what's the first topic we'll be going into tonight?
Well, besides planning to discuss how stupid Texas is, we'll get to the second topic. New reports are claiming that Adam Driver is currently finalizing a deal to star in a role in the MCU. Specifically, Driver is expected to star in Marvel Cinematic Universe's upcoming Fantastic Four reboot. Initial reports were made late last year when Driver was rumored to play either Mr. Fantastic or Dr. Doom. Reputable industry insider Daniel Rittman reported that Driver is in final talks with Marvel Studios to play Reed Richards. For months, his name has been floating around to join the MCU. In January, Driver was said to be the, quote, top casting choice to play Reed Richards in the reboot. Frank, what do you think of the potential casting of Driver as Reed Richards?
I mean, it makes a lot of sense at a lot of levels. I mean, he's already got a prior relationship with Disney through Lucasfilm, having played Kylo Ren through the sequel series. Very, very well, I might add. I mean, say what you want about the sequel series as a whole, especially the last two movies. His portrayal of Kylo Ren was pretty awesome from start to finish. I have no complaints about him at all. Like I said, he's got the prior relationship. He's been on the big budget movies. He knows kind of how the deal works. Some people they work better for like the smaller productions, the really big productions, the MCU, DCU, that kind of thing. The ones that are really involved and take months and months and a lot of post production. Those are very different kind of sets to be on. So it's kind of different. He doesn't mind that. He doesn't shrink under the light. He's tremendously popular. He's actually a very gifted actor. I mean, if you only know him as Kylo Ren, go watch what was the one he was in with Scarlett Johansson, The Marriage Story.
Yeah,
that was great acting in that movie. I mean,
good.
He didn't have the luxury of the special effects and the name Star Wars on top of it. He just had to go out there and act a great character, and he did it very, very well across from Scarlett Johansson, who herself is a very underrated actress, somebody who really delivers. So, I mean, I'm not mad about this. I mean, I, like 90% of the planet Earth, have been just holding my breath and just clutching my pearls and waiting for them to just officially announce John Krasinski as Reed Richards. I really don't care about Emily Blunt playing Sue Storm. I mean, it would be cool, but I mean, I'm okay with some of the other casting choices that have been floating around. Julie Comer is one of them. I kind of like that idea, but you know what? If you're going to go this route, I don't really mind it because he's got a bit of a Reed Richards thing about him. I mean, I've seen him in a lot of different looks, and he kind of fits them all well. So I don't think there's going to be any problem with him fitting in the role. I got to be honest. I want him more as Doctor Doom if he's going to be in the MCU at all. I think he could be someone who plays that role very, very well. The only reason I would rather see him as Reed Richards is because I've seen him be the bad guy in Kylo Ren already, and I want to see him be the good guy in a franchise just one time. I want to see him be the guy that fights the bad guy, not the bad guy. You know what I mean? So I'm very interested. You can't go wrong by adding talent. So I mean,
I'm
ready.
The show The Girls. He was the good guy in the show The Girls.
I have not.
Sensitive guy.
Yeah, I've heard that's a really good show. I haven't watched it. It's a little too soap opera-y for me at times. I mean,
honestly,
it's
a lot of stupid, but he was good in it.
I was like, you saw him be the good guy for like the last 5 minutes of Rise of Skywalker. So I mean,
yeah, but it was whatever.
No, I know.
Again, his portrayal great. What they did with his character was pure trash. His portrayal great. I don't know, but I don't know, Jeremy. What do you think? I mean, this is news that broke yesterday, and they already said that he's in final negotiations. Apparently, this is not a done deal yet. They also did not specify what he's in negotiations for. That's something that should be made very, very clear right now. But I mean, the timing lines up. I feel like the deal gets done the next couple of weeks. This is going to be one of the home run things that they're going to make at Comic-Con this year in July. I don't know, Jeremy. What do you think about these rumors?
Well, yeah, that's two different sides of the coin there that you're suggesting. As if he's going to be Reed Richards or Dr. Doom, I'm like, well, that's a pretty big spectrum. So, I mean, I could see him doing both, but like you said, I'm like, it would just be too much. Like, yeah, he's been Kylo Ren, so I don't know if I would want him to play the bad guy either. I could see him, and like you said, I could also see him as Reed Richards. He could make that work and be the super smart guy, kind of sciencey type. I don't hate it. I mean, I would kind of have wanted John Krasinski as well, but I know that was another universe, and I'm like, I know, but that's all we had, so they'd probably have to put it in that universe, and then we have to start explaining, Professor X and Captain Carter and everybody else in the Illuminati who before they met their untimely I almost said doom, but you know what I mean. Their untimely demise at the hands of Wanda. So I don't know. Maybe it's a smart move to just have it be someone else. And yeah, I could see it.
I don't know, Tex. You've had a little while to chew this idea over. What do you think about the idea of him playing any part in the MCU, one or the other?
I'm not a fan of this guy, and not just because he was the whiny, angsty kind of emo version of Darth Vader in the crappy Star Wars trilogy, but I just watched him in what was the movie? 65.
65.
You know, the movie, the dinosaur movie, the whatever. I don't think charisma vacuum is the right word for this guy. I'm just not a fan of his. I don't think he fits the casting. When I think Mr. Fantastic, I see somebody, I don't know, that kind of carries more stature to them, maybe a little bit older. I don't really know exactly what I'm looking for, but I don't see Adam Driver in that role. I think obviously he's got a foot in the door with Disney. There's a lot of other capable actors out there. If I were casting this film, I know who I would have went with. And if Disney really wanted to make some noise with the Mr. Fantastic role, since Henry Cavill ain't busy playing Superman anymore, I could see him doing a real good Mr. Fantastic role. He even looks the part. But I mean, if Adam Driver's who they go with, and as you say, in Feige we trust, it wouldn't be my pick, but I mean, hey, surprise me. You know what I mean?
He was also good in Gucci. I forgot about that. I'm like, wait, wasn't he the main guy? Yeah, opposite Lady Gaga. That was pretty cool.
I've just never been a fan of his. I mean, I've seen him do. I mean, I've never seen Girls. I don't know. I've never seen.
It's a terrible show, but he's good in it. Let's just say.
It's not your vibe. Trust me.
He seems like, I don't know. I've just never clicked with him. I've never been a fan. He's, like I said, he wouldn't be who I'd go with. I could come up with a handful of other. I mean, me personally, I like to see Krasinski back and get more than 5 minutes at the role because, hey, maybe why don't we give this guy at least a, one movie to see if he's worth it or not. But, I mean, until I see something official, I believe nothing. I mean, how many fan casting rumors have we seen? Keanu Reeves is going to be Ghost Rider. Oh, no, he's Silver Surfer. Oh, well, he's this person. I mean, how many people have been cast as Mephisto in the MCU in the last 5 years? You know what I mean?
In WandaVision, yeah.
Right. So, I mean, it's until I see something official, I believe nothing. That's just how I operate. I mean, so we'll see. I mean, who knows?
Well, Cora, I don't know how deeply steeped you are in the lore of Fantastic Four, or whether you're one of the people that, like me, has been kind of fangirling over the idea of having John Krasinski as Reed Richards. But I mean, what are some of your thoughts?
I want John Krasinski. Adam Driver is a great actor. I think they might be going for him because he might be able to get him cheap because of a contract or something, that they have some exclusivity with him, maybe because of the Star Wars thing. Maybe there's some contractual obligation to give him a movie or something, and they're trying to kill two birds with one stone. I don't know, or they're trying to pull the Star Wars audience into the fandom of this because of him. I mean, it could be anything, and maybe he wants to play this role. Maybe he's lobbying for it and we don't know it. I mean,
right.
I'm a John Krasinski. I'm team John Krasinski.
Yeah.
Do you have the T-shirt that says that or anything?
I'm a girl. I don't wear T-shirts. I wear shirts that have collars that go a little lower. But that's all.
Still print it on there.
Jennifer wears all my T-shirts.
I was gonna say
different styles. We can make it work.
I'm just saying I don't have that T-shirt. There we go.
Look, I liked Julian McMahon is the one that played Victor Von Doom in the first ones that Fox did with Chris Evans and all that.
He was really
before
good.
The MCU came along. I actually really liked his portrayal. The movies were kind of a bummer. They weren't all that great, but his portrayal was actually really, really good. Now, I think the biggest question here is what kind of character is this Reed Richards going to be? Because we may not want him to play the kind of Reed Richards that Ian, what's his name? Ian Griffin? Whoever played him in the first movie. I can never pronounce that guy's name.
Right.
But because the character is kind of a nerd, and I don't want, because like you brought up Henry Cavill playing Reed Richards. I actually don't think he looks the part, because Henry Cavill, he's built like Superman.
He's Superman.
Visually, he hits the Superman notes. Whereas I don't necessarily want my Reed Richards to be a bodybuilder. I mean, it's great that The Rock played Black Adam. Visually, he fits the character great. I wouldn't want him playing Reed Richards.
Right.
Reed Richards is a nerd who got his powers by accident. Mm-hmm. Where a lot of these guys are kind of already heroes from the jump. Reed Richards kind of wasn't. He had to grow into the role over time. Uh-huh. So, and to top it all off, his primary power was his smarts, his intellect, not just the fact that he can stretch and all that, but the primary thing that he brought to the team was his smarts. So I think that he can play the nerd aspect, but at the same time be the hero. I think he can do that. Like I said, it would be great to see him as Victor Von Doom, because we've seen him play the bad guy. He does it very, very well. Von Doom was kind of a brooding character, which is exactly what he can do very, very well. But like I said, I've already seen him play the bad guy once. He was very good at it. Now I want to see him. I want to start to give him a run of being a good guy. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So I mean,
how old is Adam Driver?
Oh, I don't know.
Mid-30s.
I think he's in the early 30s.
No, I thought
okay, well,
he's not 25, but he's not 40. Somewhere.
Here's the thing:
he was born in 1983, so he's 39 years old. Damn, he's older.
I was gonna say
he looks young.
So, if depending on how old Mr. Fantastic is going to reflect on the rest of the team. Johnny Storm is like the younger guy. He's like around the age of like a Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Like they're always kind of similar in those veins. So if he's 40, I don't know how old Tom Holland is. I'm guessing 20s as well. I don't know.
He's like my age, isn't he?
I'm
not for sure.
He's right around 30, still playing high school.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it goes in Hollywood.
So,
yeah.
I mean, typically when I think Mr. Fantastic, obviously you think like the gray on the sides of the hair. You know, he's a little bit older. He's a little more established, more like a Tony Stark kind of age range, kind of wisdom kind of thing. So maybe that's why I'm so hesitant on kind of getting on board with this. I mean, now, like you said, are they going for a younger Fantastic Four even, earlier in time? Then that's a different case. But
we tried that once. It was also not good.
Right. That fan four stick, that I don't think anybody actually paid for that movie.
I did.
But like I said,
the first half of the movie was actually really good. The second half, it falls apart really bad.
Yeah, I couldn't finish it. I tried. I watched it free on FX one day, and I couldn't even finish the movie. I turned it off, and I'm like, I'm not wasting any more of my life on this. But
that's good.
I prefer like I said, an older Mr. Fantastic. That's why I think John Krasinski played it very well. Now, like I said, I don't think he got enough of a bite at that apple to get a fair shake. But if we're not going Krasinski route, I would say somebody of stance. And I only mentioned Henry Cavill not because of the build, but the stature that he brings to a role. Obviously, he's a muscle dude, but if we just keep him out of the gym for a couple months, the muscles will go away and probably take the needle out of his butt with the steroids in it. But hey, that's allegedly, so whatever.
Wow.
But
that was very specific.
Well, that's where you take the steroids. You don't know this? That's where they go.
I don't really.
Yes.
I don't know.
You put the needle in the butt cheek. You go for it, so they don't see the needle marks. Either way, that's a whole different podcast, Corey. Either way, I don't know. I don't like him for this role. I mean,
thank you for the free lesson from your $5.99.99 course.
I've still yet to receive payment for that, by the way. But could he be in the MCU? Sure, but I just don't see him as Mr. Fantastic. You know what I mean? I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of with the idea, but again, I don't know what they want this version of Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four to be just yet. I think Marvel wants to try to take it a little bit darker than what the Fox stuff was and what the Josh Trank movie was a couple of years ago. And I think if you want to take it to a darker place, Adam Driver's probably a good guy to cast in a role. But I don't know how, but this is Marvel. There's only so dark they're willing to go with some of these characters because they like that lighter, airier, comedic stuff because it's generally more acceptable by the casual fans, by the people who are just going to see the movies. And it's something that doesn't upset some of the more hardcore people, like especially the comic book readers that have been reading the comic books for 40, 50 years. So I don't know. I'm with it on a lot of levels, but again, the big question mark for me is what do they want this Reed Richards to be? Do they want him to be kind of a departure from what Reed Richards has been in the comics and what we've gotten from him in live action? Do they kind of just want him to be? Do they want him just to play the character kind of straight up? I think he can do it, but will his kind of acting style will it all work? I don't know. That's the big question: is what do they want this to be? Because I mean, honestly, who'd have thought that Tony Stark was going to be so masterfully played by Robert Downey Jr. Because I remember, Jeremy, you probably remember when they first announced that there were a lot of people that were kind of like, really, him?
Right. Yeah.
But we see what their idea was of the character, and after the first movie comes out, we see what they were trying to do with it, how they wanted to grow the character. And we're like, okay, now it fits perfectly, and now we can't see anybody else. So, it depends on what they want to do with the character. That's the important part. I'm curious. I'm optimistic, not even cautiously optimistic. I mean, Feige's done well. I feel like now that Chapek is gone and Papa Iger's in there and he's given the creative power back to the creative guys, that we're going to start getting more and more stuff that we've been used to getting from the MCU. So I feel like the tide's going to start to turn in a good way a little bit, and this is probably not a bad casting for that. So I'm hopeful. You know what I mean? Now, granted, Phase 4 was going to face its challenges anyway. I think it kind of coincided a little bit with some mismanagement at the top, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not against it. I just want to see what this is going to be about. Because remember, this movie starts filming. They said beginning of next year, early next year.
Oh boy.
So if this is the case right now, and I said this a long time ago, like when they were talking about, I think several months ago they were talking about how they might announce. I think it was Julie Comer was they were talking about announcing her somewhere, I forget where, as Sue Storm or whatever, and that ended up not happening. And I was like, if you're not going to start shooting this until early 2024, you don't have to announce the cast until next year's Comic-Con. Right. I mean, that's the most likely place for you to drop it. Why would you start announcing these things now? It didn't really make a lot of sense to me. But if this ends up happening, and when Feige's out there at Comic-Con saying, okay, we start shooting Fantastic Four, and here's our first family of Marvel, and you see Judy Comer walk out, you see him walk out, he'll say, hey, he's playing Reed Richards or Victor Von Doom, whatever, and then so on and so on. That's where you drop that announcement. So I don't know if this deal is going to happen with him or anybody else. It's going to happen soon. Personally, I think they've got a lot of it already. All the deals done. I just think they're waiting to announce it until Comic-Con. This might just be the test balloon that they throw up for the media every now and again, just to kind of see how people are going to feel about it. So I don't know. I'm kind of excited about it. I think he can do both those roles very, very well. I'd like to see him take a shot at Reed Richards. But I don't know. I guess we're going to find out we're 3 months away roughly from Comic-Con. That's going to be bombs.
August or July?
July in San Diego.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the big one that none of us will ever go to because I don't have $1 million to spend to stay there for one day.
You know the irony of Comic-Con? You know the tickets are only like, I think they're $35 a day.
Jeremy, that city's gone to hell. You don't want to go visit it. Just saying.
San Diego?
Oh, I thought San Francisco. My bad.
No,
San Diego's way different. San Diego's
you're right. San Diego's awesome. I, for some reason,
I can't believe that they hold Comic-Con in a whale's vagina. That's just so crazy that they do that.
Okay.
That's the Anchorman. That's the Anchorman joke.
Jeremy,
come on, you didn't even laugh.
Jeremy,
you didn't even laugh. You didn't. I'm embarrassed.
We quote that movie. We quote that movie in casual conversation. It doesn't stand out to us anymore.
Hey,
not.
I love Lamp.
There you go. Do what you need to do.
That's not staying very classy of you, Tex.
Well,
you're
obviously not.
You know what Tex wants for Christmas? Sex Panther.
It's like Sex Panther.
Well, no. See, Sex Panther is the nickname that my lovers give me after I pleasure them. That's what they call me because I just rap it. So, it's all good. It's all good.
I need to make
Are you saying that you're very pungent? You sting in the nostrils? You gotta be honest, man. It smells like.
But listen, we obviously. But obviously, we care about what you guys think. So get on the comments below. Let us know. Do you guys think that Adam Driver would be a good addition to the MCU, either as Reed Richards or somebody else? Also, don't forget, it's actually in the chat. The poll is, do you want to see him in the MCU? Yes or no? Very simple answer. Let us know what you guys think. We'll go over that at the end of the show. I think it'd be a good addition, personally. As either one of those things. Or, you know what? Hey, maybe he's going to play somebody else. You never know.
Maybe.
They have not specified who he's going to play, just that he's in talk. And a lot of the speculation is that it's going to be Reed Richards or Victor Von Doom. But who's to say he won't play somebody else? I don't know who that would be, but
I don't know.
But hey, you know what? We could be getting different variants of Reed Richards. Maybe that's because this is. Well, I mean, hopefully
they could do
the multiverse saga by then, but.
They could bring back Ian, what's-his-face from the first one.
Yeah, you could.
Bring back John Krasinski, and then they could do the whole pointing thing like Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what I'm not. But this time, what's cool about it is they could stretch so they can be really far away and do it from like different counties. You know what I mean, or something. It'd be really cool.
Different parts of the country. They're all like.
Well, one's in Avengers Tower, the other one's in the Baxter Building. I'm Mr. Fantastic. You're not. Their arm grows, or something. That'd be great.
Go down in the comments and let us know what you guys think of the idea of Adam Driver joining the MCU. I think it'd be pretty interesting. Lady Cora, what's the next topic we'll be going into tonight?
Well, something I'm excited about because I'm a big fan of both of these franchises. I've watched all the old ones, all the new ones. Prepare for more chaos as a legendary Warner Brothers Monsterverse readies audience for its next installment. The studio dropped a 35-second teaser for the next in their Godzilla vs. Kong series that initially started with the 2021 feature of the same name, directed by Adam Wingard. We don't get much in the 35 seconds, but we do get a shot of what appears to be King Kong himself on his throne, surrounded by bones of no doubt a legion of enemies. The teaser concludes with the skulls of both Kong and the equally famous Godzilla before revealing the film's title is officially Godzilla vs. Kong: The New Empire. Tex, what do you think of the teaser? I loved it.
I thought it was good. It showed you just enough to get you excited. I don't know who that monster is that they showed. Like a red hair. Like I was trying to comb through like my knowledge of the old kaiju monsters that they could pull from. I don't know who that is, but visually it looks cool. I like the colors that they chose. The color palettes, especially of Godzilla versus Kong, were incredible. That's one of the films that I did get to see in theaters during the lockdown stuff, and like that scene where they're battling in Tokyo and all the neon is around them and Mecha Godzilla's doing his thing. That was just visually so cool. Actually, my favorite of these new Godzilla films was Godzilla King of the Monsters. That with King Ghidorah and all that. It had this dark kind of apocalyptic tone to it. I love that. I like that more than Kong versus Godzilla. But I'm curious to see where they go with this. Obvious when we left in the last film, they were on the same side. And if you look at the title, it's Godzilla X Kong. So it doesn't say versus in there. So are they teaming up against this new kaiju? What's the deal here? Is this going to be? My gut tells me they're probably going with that Hollow Earth thing where Kong is ruling under, and that's probably where that throne is from the last film, if I had to guess. But I'm here for it. You give me a gigantic monster movie on the screen. I grew up watching, Godzilla movies on Monster Vision with Joe Bob Briggs. That's where I first saw Godzilla and King Kong. So yeah, I'm here for it. I can't wait.
I don't know, Jeremy, what do you think? Is that Kong sitting on the throne, or is that somebody else? Because I'm kind of wondering as I look at it.
I don't think so.
I don't know, because the last time I saw King Kong was in like 1930 something. That's probably the last fucking King Kong movie I've ever watched.
You just watched it because Loki was in that one. That's the only reason you watched it.
No, I'm talking about the black and white movie from the 30s. The hell are you talking about?
You didn't watch Kong Skull Island? I know you watched Kong Skull Island.
No.
Loki's in it. The dude that plays Loki.
Tom Hiddleston? Okay, I believe
you.
Okay, great. Yeah. That's great.
Oh, good dog. Well, you're just no fun today, ain't you? Oh. What the heck?
Yes, very sad.
Today,
anyway. I'm going to drop the Loki line and you didn't even hear me. No, it's like in the last Godzilla I ever saw in a movie was Mecha Godzilla in Ready Player One. So no. Sorry if I just disappoint everybody, but I'm not like the. I don't want to say there are mindless. Not okay. Before I say mindless, just movies. I'm like I do just like mindless bullshit happening, but I don't know. I just wasn't there for two big monsters beating the shit out of each other. As fun as that does sound. So. No, actually, I lied. I saw the one in like 1998 with
Matthew Broderick.
Godzilla 2000.
I almost said Nathan Lane. Like, no, the other, not Timon, fucking Pumbaa.
You saw the one where Godzilla was laying eggs in Madison Square Garden. That's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm sorry. I saw the one from the 90s. Never mind, because the 90s were so great.
Which is actually a really fun movie. I'm not gonna lie.
Look at that! Look at that! I got him to admit it. Jeez.
Look, it was not a good Godzilla movie, but it was a good monster movie. It had none of the magic of the 50s and 60s Godzilla movies from Japan.
Right.
It was a pretty entertaining movie.
That's fair. I don't know. I don't know. I guess if we're doing, I don't know. I guess last monster whatever movie I saw of that, I guess might have been Alien versus Predator. So I don't know. It's like if you told me they were going to team up to fight something else, I'd be like, okay. But what is it, right? So,
right.
I don't know where this fits into a timeline here of, is this after? Because if you're suggesting you got King Kong on a throne surrounded by, I guess, like you said, what you assume is other like kaiju monsters and shit like that, it's like, okay, so what's left? If this is it's like, do you just, is he sitting on a throne of bones? That was really hard to say for me right now. Wow, I'm tired. I don't know, neat monsters and shit.
Neat.
Well, I really enjoy it.
Put that on a shirt. Neat. Monsters and shit. Just do that.
It's like, yay.
That's the hashtag of the show, folks. Neat monsters and shit. There you go. I dig it.
Like
Make it trending.
I love the trailer for what it was as an announcement trailer. I mean, it doesn't give you anything other than some cool visuals.
What is that? What is that thing in the center there on that screenshot?
That's what I'm wondering.
Okay, is that what you're
question? Is like it pulls it
that
starts, if you watch the trailer, it starts on the whatever is sitting in the throne and pulls back to this visual of the skull of a Godzilla and the skull of a Kong right there.
Right.
And it says in the article that it was Kong sitting on the throne, but I'm like, that doesn't look like Kong because King Kong
that had red hair and blue eyes. That's not King Kong.
No.
Well, he's big,
what if it's supposed to be a hybrid of the two?
Like a gorilla.
What if somehow they blend into one and it's half Godzilla, half King Kong?
I don't know about all that. It didn't look like that anymore.
Okay, but here's the problem, though. In this kaiju verse, they're both males. So even if they made it and somehow made some monstrosity, the science don't work out.
Hey! All the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park were female.
One line of dialogue could explain everything, as Frank said.
Life will find a way.
Ian
all right, Jeff Goldblum, go unbutton your shirt and get out of here. All right, just get out of here.
I'm not doing
all they can do is open it with Ian. All they can do is open it with him as Ian in a black shirt going, they made it happen in a lab.
Well, if you guys did see, I'm gonna do a thing here for somebody. If you guys saw Brooding Gamer's latest video, I did do my best Ian Malcolm impression.
Yeah, I so wanted to call you nerd in the comment section, but I got busy doing other things when I saw that. So you're welcome. So
yeah, I just don't think it looks like, because King Kong is just a big gorilla, but he's shaped like a gorilla, so those arms are kind of scrawny. So as I look at him right now, it does look like some other kind of creature with those glowing eyes. I just don't know what it is.
Well, there is one option though. They showed after Godzilla vs. Kong came out, the early reports were that Legendary Pictures wanted to focus on like a Son of Kong movie. That was the first headlines that came out. I remember reading about them. So maybe this is that. Maybe this is, like I said, assuming that they're going off of the same timeline, same existing universe they've already created. The inner Earth is Kong's realm. Godzilla's on the top in the water or whatever. So maybe they're still doing a inner Earth or a Hollow Earth story with the Kong side, but there's some sort of hybrid kaiju of some sort, because he did look. Whoever that was looks like he had those nuclear eyes like Godzilla has. So that's where that hybrid, I guess, they're talking about. I don't really know. But, I mean, let's see. They've already done Ghidorah. They did Mechagodzilla. Who else was in God of Monsters? There was 4 or 5 of them in there. I can't remember.
Didn't they do Mothra?
Yeah,
Mothra was in there.
Okay, about to say they alluded to Mothra. I can't remember if
Mothra was in there, yeah. They didn't do the turtle one. I can't remember the turtle one, so that one's a possibility. But this ape, I don't know enough about the Kong verse to speculate who that is. Like I said, maybe it's a Son of Kong or something. I don't know, but I mean, I'm whatever it is, I'm here for it because I dig these films. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Cora, what do you think? I mean, you were obviously pretty excited about this when you were reading the lead-in. I mean, how excited are you to see this movie? What do you think it's going to bring?
I don't know, but I'm excited for it. I, as a kid, used to watch AMC and watch all the old movies. And I watched a lot of the Godzilla, as they say, Godzilla, or however they do it.
Godzilla.
Godzilla.
The King Kong stuff, even the old black and whites, you know. And the whole lore of it is so unique, and it's kind of just one of those genres in moviedom, I guess, that nobody really fucks with too much. It is what it is. There's not a lot of like extrapolation off of it and weird plot spins. And it's something that seems really pure and original, or people stay true to the true originals of it. And I love it. I'm excited about it. I don't really care who's in it. I just want to see what fucking happens. And it would be great if they had more after this one. So
You're saying it's not some guy in a suit.
And here's the beautiful thing about these
matter.
movies. They're CG. Yeah. You don't have to worry about casting. They don't fucking talk. They just roar.
Well,
you don't have to worry about who's going to play Godzilla, who's going to play Kong. It just is. And I like the simplicity of that. So that's what I think. I'm looking
I mean,
that
there's always
that is one of those
there's
things.
There's always a few. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was good. I will admit that is one of those, like, you know, that's one of those sounds, like you hear Godzilla do that fucking roar. It's like that's the oh shit, sends just chills down your spine every time. That's
oh yeah.
It's like, oh, do the thing, there he goes. You know.
Well, I mean, if you look back at it, like I said, if you look back at this entire MonsterVerse that Warner Brothers has built with Legendary, you know, it's like I said, it started with Kong Skull Island, and you had Tom Hiddleston, John Goodman was in there. What's her face that does Marvel? Brie Larson. She was in the movie. But that film took place in like what was that, the 30s or something? 30s or 40s. I can't remember when that film takes place.
No, that took place in the 80s,
like
I think.
7. Oh, that's at 7.
No, it was before that.
Well, because I thought the one with like Jack Black was the one that took place in the 30s, right?
No. This one.
That one we don't talk about that one. That one's like.
That one.
I didn't say. I'm just saying it was set in a different.
No, this one. This was set like 1900. It wasn't even 80s. It was earlier. I may be wrong about 30s, but it was earlier than the 80s.
Well,
I know for sure.
No, the Jack Black one was set in the 30s. That was supposed to be
Yeah.
kind of a direct remake of the original.
Of the original.
The one
Right.
that came out a couple of years ago was set in the 70s because Samuel L. Jackson, they were flying around in Hueys and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was like, weren't they
So
like?
that
Was it the 70s? I thought it seemed earlier than that.
I want to say
I
it
don't
was
know.
set in the 80s because it was the post-credit scene. What the hell happened to the post-credit scene? The post-credit scene takes place several years after. And that's when they kind of like allude to the idea of all these
trying to think.
shit like that.
I don't know. Like I said, either way, Kong Skull Island set this whole universe up. It was the Iron Man of this world. And then they did Godzilla, which had Bryan Cranston in it for like 10 minutes till he dies. And which seemed like a waste, by the way. Then, you know, they had the preceding films up to where we are now. I mean, these are fun movies to go watch. I mean, yes, these are mindless, smash them up. You're literally going to see two gigantic beasts on a 100-foot screen just tear cities apart and, you know, almost kill each other. It's just one of those things. But I mean, they're fun movies to watch. They're, you know, depending on the few human roles in these films, I normally don't care about them too much. I just want to see the monsters. But
That's what we came.
you know, right? Yeah, I didn't come here to see you preach about whatever. I want to see Godzilla slinging nuclear fireballs at King Kong. You know what I mean?
Right.
But hey, I'll take as much Godzilla as I can get a hold of. You know, I'm a fan of it.
Yeah, I thought the teaser, it's what it is, the teaser. It tells you the movie's getting made, which is something I kind of already knew. I don't, these days, I don't really understand the point of teaser trailers. I mean, it's one thing if you want to release them a couple of weeks before you drop your first big trailer, but I mean, now when you're talking about a year before we're going to see another trailer, it's kind of silly. But that said, I mean, they did it for Ghostbusters Afterlife too. They released that first little teaser probably a year out, and that got everybody fucking going nuts. And then of course
it gets everybody talking. Yeah.
But I mean, we all knew this movie was going to get made eventually. It was just one of the ones that got pushed a little bit because of, you know, shutdowns and everything over the last couple of years. But, you know, now all this trailer says to me is it's actually getting made. Like I said, I think whatever was sitting on that throne is probably a big reveal that we just don't know what the hell it is yet. Because I don't think that was Kong. The arms were a little too gangly. So it's probably something new. It's probably some concept of what the big villain, the big antagonist of this is going to be. So that's cool. It was because the imagery was good. I mean, again, I don't get really excited over teasers, But this one I was like, okay, what's next? But now I'm not going to get what's next until whenever, another year from now, probably. I mean, if we're lucky, the next Super Bowl, which is 10 months away. So
2024, gentlemen. 2024.
Yeah, I'm not getting bent about it right now. It was a good teaser. I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, I'm excited. Let's see what's next. But
it's gotta be something good if we're gonna
right now. Like,
if you're gonna have the two.
Like I said, the problem is like, if there is anything significant in this teaser, we're not going to know what the hell it is till the movie comes out.
Yeah. And
I feel like the only thing that could be kind of a big reveal that after we see the movie, we're going to look back on this trailer and be like, okay, that's what that was. Now that makes sense. It's going to be whatever the hell is sitting on that throne. Like that's the only big deal about this thing. And if that's all that causes a little bit of discussion about this thing for the next year, then fine. But I don't know if that's enough. Like I said, it's going to be at least probably another year before we see even another short trailer.
True.
When it comes to movies like Godzilla or King Kong, you don't need to announce what the plot is. You don't even really need a trailer for movies like this.
Agreed.
You just we're making a Godzilla movie. They've had the same plot since the first one that from Tojo Studios however many years ago. I mean, it's always been the same. There's some sort of human threat. It's going to be environmental plot, nuclear testing turned Godzilla into a blah, 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 or whatever. And, you're there to see monster smash stuff. And, even our fighter pilots can't hurt it. That's rinse and repeat. It's one of those things. Huh?
I said, no, it wasn't the plane. It was Beauty killed the beast.
Right. Yeah. So, it's like I said, this is a summer popcorn, smash them up, go make, these movies like this generally make their money back. It's one of those things. It's why they keep getting made. And hey, I'm excited for it. If that's King Kong's son or some weirdo hybrid thingy, I'm excited for it. Let's make it.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys go down in the comments. Let us know what you think. Was there anything really spectacular about this teaser, or was it just a teaser? I mean, I'm excited to see the movie already. I didn't need the teaser. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I do like the cool visuals though, which is nice. But again, just way too far out in front to even give me even a teaser for me. But I don't know. I'm still going to go see the movie one way or another, even if the trailers are kind of shitty. I'm kind of curious as to what they're going to give us. So I don't know. Go down in the comments. Let us know what you guys thought of the teaser trailer for Godzilla versus Kong. Now, Lady Cora, what's the next topic we'll be going to tonight?
Well, Top Gun Maverick breakout star Glen Powell will step out of the cockpit to join Daisy Edgar Jones in Universal and Amblin's Twister movie. The new story is not a sequel, nor is it expected to bring back old characters. The studio is describing it as a, quote, new chapter in the story. Edgar Jones will star in the project as a former storm chaser who, after surviving a disastrous tornado encounter, now works a desk job. However, she will soon be forced to, you guessed it, go out into the breach once more. Jeremy, are you looking forward to seeing Powell try to fill the late Bill Paxton shoes, or will you rue the day?
I hate you, Frank. Don't ever do that again. He was smiling. He thought he was ready for it.
I knew what I was doing.
He knew what he was doing. He's talking about imminent ruinage.
Imminent ruinage, man.
Imminent ruinage.
Shit, I hate you.
Don't kill the messenger.
No. He knows.
Guys, don't have a cow. Okay, just don't have a cow. Everybody chill. You'll be fine. It's okay. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Maybe I just need some food.
Thanks, Dad.
Food. we can do it all day, man. Well, as my opening statement, Your Honor, this is a fantastic movie from a pretty fantastic era called the 90s. So, shut up. So,
like a dog with a goddamn bone. Jeez.
No, she's here. She's licking my arm. You know what? I don't even know. What did you say in that? It's not a sequel, but it's not a. I don't even know what this is anymore.
It's a new chapter. It's not a sequel, nor are they bringing back former characters.
But it kind of
a new chapter, like a new iteration.
It's a who's a what's it. That's what it is.
I know. I don't know what the hell to even whatever.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. see, then I can't really like place a statement on that because I'm like, well, no, you obviously I don't know if I really want anyone to try and be Bill Paxton. I mean, I don't know if that's what they're trying to do, but yeah, obviously we can't really bring him back. That being said,
We have the technology.
and Philip Seymour Hoffman, unfortunately, we can't have him either. So I don't know. I don't know. Since I don't really know what this movie is, it's like I can't really make a decision, and I don't even think they know what they're doing. They're like, here, we're gonna make it a kind of sort of not really sequel in the same universe that kind of not really the same thing. I'm like, huh? Just say what it is. Jesus Christ. Because if you attach the name and then to it, we're talking about the original movie, and then I'm like, okay, so then what does it have to do with that? And then they just kind of shrugged their shoulders, like, I don't know, there's the twisters. I don't know. Bring back Carrie Elwes. I don't care.
I think it's gonna suck.
I don't care if you saw the explosion. Bring them back. Who the hell cares? You didn't see a body.
I think they're just gonna try to make it a whole completely different movie, put a name on it to get fandom from the last one to watch it, and everyone's gonna be disappointed like the new Footloose. Like, come the fuck on.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't do that. That's fair. I don't know. But that was actually like a remake though, right? It was not really a new chapter.
But I think people watched it because they loved the first one.
Yeah, and that's where they get you. Hey, we're having another Indiana Jones movie coming out, guys.
When Blake Shelton redid Kenny's song, Kenny Loggins, I was like, true. I'm not seeing it. Fuck that shit.
That's fair. That's fair. Return to Godfather. Look how they massacred my boy. That's what none of us want. I don't know. So,
I don't know. Tex, what do you think? I mean, you're hearing this news. Jeremy is over about it.
Glen Powell, the only thing I know him from was the small role that he had in Dark Knight Rises, and obviously Top Gun Maverick. But I love the first Twister movie. I mean, I've told the story on here before. I was sitting in the theater watching this with my old man as we heard tornado sirens going off in real life outside. I will never forget that as long as I live. But knowing this isn't a sequel, this isn't like Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt's son or daughter. To me, the longer this goes, this is starting to smell like cash grab. I think is what Cora was getting to a minute ago. Yeah. And I just want it to be good. I mean, even if it is a cash grab, make it a good one so we can enjoy it. Make it a fun popcorn movie. A team of weather chasers they're trying to get Dorothy 3 going or something. I don't know.
They had 4.
Huh?
Why do I feel like
was it 4? Okay, so
the 4th one finally works, so maybe a 5. I don't know.
Okay, so Dorothy 5 and 6 is what they're going. Just redo the movie. They don't have to redo the movie. They could probably re-release the original Twister in theaters and make a bunch of money on that too. Because I know I guessed it.
I think what you mean, Tex, is if they re-release that, it'd be more of a cash cow.
Yes. Oh, yes. Because cows, if you thought one cow flying on your screen, buddy, you put that back in theaters to see what happens. I've always wanted to see this. I've always wanted to see this at a drive-in. That's one thing I never got to do. I've always wanted to see Twister at a drive-in. That would be incredible.
And on the other screen, they're showing The Shining because that's what they were watching.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just recreate that whole thing. But like I said, this is one of those movies. It's a childhood favorite. It's a momentous event that I want to be. Just make it good. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not.
Make it extreme.
I'm going in with zero expectation. Just give me a fun. Don't preach to me. Don't put some agenda nonsense in here about how we're ruining Mother Nature and we need to blah blah blah. Keep all your green crap. Right. Don't blame global warming. I don't need to be preached to by the green idiots. Just make it a fun movie. I don't care what it is. Just make it good. That's all I want.
I don't know. Corey, you're hearing this. I mean, you've already mentioned a couple of times. We're drawing a couple of comparisons to Footloose, to the newer version that I still have to this day have not watched. Thank God. But I mean, I don't know. What are you thinking? Is this going to work for you, or is this?
I'm not even going to watch it. I'd rather watch Sharknado.
Hey, Sharknado.
That's a
You watch your mouth, sir. Sharknado is a stand-up franchise. I will defend that.
I do too. Chill Tex, I like it too because it's so dumb.
I just think they're gonna fuck up the idea of the movie, and this is gonna be like that Ghostbusters movie with the girls I never saw that you guys pretend doesn't exist. People are gonna talk about the timeline of Twister movies, and they're gonna go, "Yeah, that one we don't talk about." That's what this already is. It's already the ugly stepchild. So whatever, let's move on. Make it. Nobody watch it. We'll talk about it for 2 minutes and then move on to the next one.
So we walk out of the theater. We're just like, loser. Move on.
Yes. Yes.
Now they have to have a red Dodge Ram in this movie. If they drive a red Dodge Ram, I'll be happy. Give me that at least.
Can we get Walker Texas Ranger to do a cameo in the Dodge?
Oh, jeez. If you could give me Chuck Norris, you got my money already.
Driving a Dodge in the movie, like being stuck up with a fucking tornado.
You know.
And they wreck a Jeep truck, and then they have the damn Dodge Ram. Funny.
If Chuck Norris could pull up in a red Dodge Ram and like spin kick a tornado and it just goes away.
He kicks the tornado so hard it starts spinning the other way.
That's the climax of the movie right there. Like all of their Dorothy's have failed, right? Like, what do we do? This tornado's about to hit a school and a fire station and a nun housing. I don't know. Just throw like puppies are over there or something. And you see Chuck Norris. You hear the Walker Texas Ranger music.
Oh,
cue, right? Chuck Norris pulls up with his hat down real low and says, I got this.
No.
And he does a spin kick.
He's pushing a walker in his outfit.
No. Walker Texas Ranger don't need no walker. Don't you even go there.
Chuck Norris,
he already is Walker. Man. All right.
I don't know, he is pushing 80.
He is about 80 years old, man.
Hey, Chuck Norris is more manly than all of us put together right now.
I'm
at 80.
not
I don't want to
manly,
hear it.
all. So, that's good.
But forgive that squirrel moment. I'm sorry, folks. I know we didn't post a graphic, but squirrel moment brought to you by Lady Cora, as the graphic says. But just make it a fun.
Funny.
Hit the nostalgia, hit the Dorothy, hit the Dodge. You got to have the cows. You got to do all the things. Have the wind chimes. Hit the things that we know from existing and make it good. If it's not a sequel, then just make it fun.
Just like Brooding Gamer said, have somebody chuck a bottle of Jack Daniels at it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's what we need.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many things they can do. Like, they're obviously not going for any kind of universe here. So just tell us a good story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would be happy if they gave us a universe, because they would give us an idea as to exactly what this movie is. I don't understand the part of this article where they say the new story is not a sequel, nor is it expected to bring back old characters. So what is it? Is it right? Because when you say that, you're the only other option after that is a remake. And if it's a remake, just call it a remake. I mean, why talk around it? And so the studio is describing it as a new chapter in the story. It's a remake. Call it what it is. Because what's happening here is they don't want to piss off the hardcore fans of the original and say that it's a remake, because remakes had kind of a bad connotation attached to them. They don't want to say it's a sequel, because when you say it's a sequel, it comes with certain expectations. Can Alan Ruck pop back in there? He was in the original. I mean, can Helen Hunt pop back in there? She was in the original. The old lady, they stopped the house, not Aunt May. May.
Yeah.
It's like, she's 90-something years old. We talked a few months ago about how you just want a Tony. It's like she could pop in there for a cameo. So when you call it a sequel, there's certain expectations of showing some kind of connective tissue to the original, which is very hard to do now because, Bill Paxton's not around anymore, unfortunately. He passed away.
Seymour Hoffman.
Yes, Philip Seymour Hoffman's passed away. So, I mean, there's not, and those were two of the most important people, other than Helen Hunt, who probably wouldn't want to come back to it anyway if it's not going to be a project that she likes. I mean,
it's not like she's doing anything these days, anyways.
Well, I mean, she could read the script and be like, "My God, this sucks. I don't want to be a part of this thing." I mean, so whatever. I don't know what this movie is. If it's a remake, call it a remake. Don't have this new chapter shit. I mean, just be honest about what this is and saying, hey, we're making a Twister movie. It's an entirely new story. It's a remake. We're going back to the beginning of telling the story in modern time. Fine. That's what it is. And I appreciate the honesty. But trying to lie to me and say, oh, it's a new chapter because we don't want you to hate it because it's not the old chapter. It's like, come on, it's just phony. Now, as far as adding Powell to the cast, why not? The guy's hot right now. I mean, he was in Devotion, which was a pretty good movie from what I hear. I haven't seen it yet. With what's his name? With who we talked about later. God damn it. Jonathan Majors. He was in that movie. Was supposedly really, really good. I mean, he was in Top Gun Maverick, which blew the world away out of nowhere. I mean, he was good in that. He's been in stuff. He's the good-looking leading man. I mean, he is nowadays kind of what Bill Paxton was back in the 90s when the original came out. So, I mean, it's
almost like they're casting someone who looks very similar with using the same name of the movie that he was in. You know, kind of like a cash grab. That's funny how that works out.
You know, that hadn't occurred to me at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know.
Because it seems like the female character, the Helen Hunt character of this movie, is the one that's kind of walked away from the storm chasing thing and is doing something else. So I mean, so they're kind of doing a flip. They're just kind of flipping the situations. I mean, I don't know, just whatever.
Or maybe she's going to get.
Yeah, stop pretending that it's not a remake and just say we're making a new movie. That's it. It's not a sequel. It's not a remake. It's not a whatever. It's a new movie. It's call it what you will, but this does not exist. There is no book somewhere where they're going to be reading about, you know, Bill Paxton's character doing whatever he did back in Oklahoma in 1990, whatever. You know, if you're don't even call if they're going to be doing a whole thing with another machine, don't even call it Dorothy. Let it be its own thing. Let it breathe and grow as its own entity. You can be nostalgic.
Right.
You can have like some pictures up. You can call places. You can have like, you know, Paxton's bar, the background when they go to drink or whatever is kind of an homage to him, that kind of thing. But I mean, have just enough nostalgia to where the people want to come see it. And then once they get in there to kind of get a taste of the nostalgia, that's when you hit them with a good story, with the good dialogue, the good characters, the stuff that you create for this one particular project. And don't try to suck the nostalgia tit because your script is weak and your story is not very good. I mean, I just don't do that. Give me a decent movie, because if it's not going to be a sequel, if you don't want to attach yourself to it like that, fine, I get it.
Yeah.
But you still got to make it good because you're still riding that Twister name. You know what I mean? So, I mean, because people love Star Wars. Then they go watch Han Solo, and a lot of people are like, not that great. And you've got a Han Solo character in it. And there was a bunch of connective tissue between that movie and the rest of the universe. It still wasn't very well liked. I mean, I thought it was a good movie. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to turn out. But, I mean, it still was not the high end Star Wars that we had been used to getting. So I don't know. Just I'm glad you're adding some talent. That's fantastic. And I like this guy Powell. I think he's one of the up and comers. He's one of the people we talked a while back about people who can play Superman with Henry Cavill stepping away from it. I mean, this is one thing he can pull off. I remember his square jaw, his uber handsome Hollywood good looks, the way, you know, the hair, everything. I mean, he's got the leading man stuff about him. I mean, I don't know. Go ahead, put it in there, let him do it. It better give me a good story, because if the story sucks, then no forgiving you. Like I said, there's this nostalgic thing. If you don't feed a little bit of it, but still give us a good story, that's where it's going to bomb really, really badly. So be very, very careful how you craft this thing, because if it fails, it's going to fail bad.
See, now I want that bar in the background that says like Paxton's Bar, and I need a Jack Daniels advertisement on the front that says "Have a drink, it's extreme" or something. Like, I need to have that now.
But you see, if that's the stuff they do, fine. But or if they're just playing like a Bill Paxton movie in the background, like, you know, Aliens is playing them. That's what they do. They're gonna go to the theater. It's gonna be playing one of Bill Paxton scenes from Alien. He's like, "That's it, man. Game over."
Yeah, I'm like, no. Instead of The Shining and the Twister takes out the sign, they're watching Aliens, and right as the sign gets taken away, he goes, "Game over, man!" And the Twister comes right over. That'd be funny.
That would be dope as hell. That would be
right when he says "Game over, man." Like, that's it. Yeah.
That would be kind of cool. But I don't know. I mean, go down in the comments below. Let us know what you guys think. Are you interested in the Twisters? Not sequel, not reboot, whatever the hell this is coming out. I want to give it a chance. I want it to be good. I want it to be great, because I think there's a lot of potential here. But
because you don't want it to be stuck in the suck zone.
you're tugging at the heartstrings of a movie that is very, very well loved among cinephiles for the better part of 20-some years now, almost 30 years now.
Almost 30, I think. Yeah.
You better come correct if you want this movie to work. So just adding a good-looking leading man is not going to be enough. The movie itself has to be good. But go down in the comments and let us know what you guys think. And Lady Cora, what's the next topic we'll be going into tonight?
Well, in another chapter to his personal drama, up-and-coming actor Johnathan Majors has been dropped from several projects following domestic violence allegations. Additional alleged abuse victims have recently come forward as well. This week, Majors' manager, Entertainment 360, severed ties with the actor over the domestic violence allegations. His publicist, the lead company, also dropped him. Majors has also been dropped from a handful of upcoming projects as well. Let's look for him on the next season of Celebrity Big Brother. Frank, does this change your outlook for how all this will work out for Majors?
Well, I mean, I still say innocent until proven guilty. I want this to play out. I think it's the fairest thing for him. And if he's innocent, I want him to be found innocent. If he's guilty, I want him to pay an appropriate price, because I think that's how it's supposed to work. And once again, people jumping the gun one way or the other, whatever their feelings are about this, are making dumb emotional responses to not a lot of information. Because let's face it, not a lot of information has been put out about this whole thing. Nobody knows shit except for Johnathan Majors and people involved and the cops. Outside of that, nobody knows what the fuck's going on with any of this. I've got to admit, though, as much as I want this to work out, as much as I want him to be innocent because of the performances I've seen from him in the last year or so, I would be a liar if I said my confidence that this was going to work out is the same as it was 2 weeks ago. It's
last week.
It's even just a couple of days ago, really. I was kind of like, okay, there, whatever. If this stuff is real, this evidence he says he has, that he's not done the things that he's been accused of, this is all going to play out eventually. And like I said last time, the legal system tends to take some time to work itself out. But I can't
see into Gloria Allred getting on a microphone on a stage with some reporters around going, this is the evidence. He's innocent. Nobody's standing up for him.
First off, well, I don't know. Gloria Allred, those people, most of the people that jump on this shit are attention whores. That's why I don't listen to them. That's why I say step back, let the law do its thing, and then we'll form our opinions after that.
Nobody's declaratively representing him and helping him defend himself in public.
Well, because nobody knows yet. That's what I'm saying. There's so much unknown. It's like, people talk about about Marvel's response to all this. They're comparing it to DC and all the Ezra Miller drama. And I'm like, well, they're kind of different, because even Ezra Miller was like, yeah, I did this. I beat this person in Hawaii, and I choke slammed this girl in Iceland, and I threatened to kill these people, and I stole a couple of bottles of high-end booze from these people down the street from my house. I mean,
you also a chop broom and piece of crap too.
That stuff, they're apparently, I believe they're stuff that Johnathan Majors and his legal representation say anyway. They believe it. There is evidence that says that he did not do this specific thing. Now, the other thing that has come out now is that other victims are cooperating with the DA's office. This, according to an article from Variety. He's going to be in court on May 8th, which is just a couple weeks away. Let's see. Is it saying? Where did I have it in here? Sources familiar with matter tell Variety that multiple alleged abuse victims have come forward following his March arrest and are cooperating with the Manhattan DA's office. The prospect of more women waiting in the wings would mark a traumatic turn in the case, and comes on the heels of Major's publicist and management firm cutting ties earlier this week. And then it goes into saying, kind of giving a rundown of the situation, arrested in March, blah, blah, blah. But what's really frightening about this is one of the other people that has come forward saying that they have dealt with some situation, whatever it may be, involving Majors, was one of the crew members from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So that puts Marvel in kind of a weird spot, because now they're like, wait a minute. Now it's not just that he did some stuff. Now he may have done some stuff on our set. Now they're kind of like, okay, because he's already shot all season 2 for Loki drops. What, Jeremy? What are we, a week or two away?
Probably, right? Because
I mean, one way or another, what I've heard is they feel everything is wrapped on Loki season 2. They've wrapped all his stuff. everything's cut and ready to go. It's in the can, as they say. So you can't really reshoot. I mean, you would be delaying Loki season 2 by like a year if you wanted to try to.
Oh, you're gonna make me mad.
So you kind of have to let Loki season 2 go out.
I would be standing on Kevin Feige's lawn saying, "Give me Loki."
I'll do you one better. I'll stay right by you with President Loki, like demanding.
Yes.
Yeah. With the alligator, cutting the alligator like this, like he's a cat.
I know. I'll just have the gator to him, like, I'll send him in there. Damn it! Don't make me do it.
But he's also supposed to be playing a pretty big part in Secret Wars, which is coming up. Then of course you have the whole problem of his name being on the byline of a major Avengers movie in the Kang Dynasty. So I mean, they don't really have a choice but to kind of like sit back and wait now, especially when you consider that one of these people that has come forward to talk to the DA, it was somebody that he apparently had some interaction with on the set of a Marvel film. The one thing, though, I think needs to be mentioned here is that even with these people, these other people coming forward and saying they've had negative interactions with him in the past, that doesn't necessarily mean he's guilty of this one. Now, I could kill 5 people, but if you try to get me on killing the 6th person and I didn't do it, then me killing another 5 people, if you can't get me on that, it doesn't really matter towards the one thing I didn't do. You know what I mean? So these people might be able to be used as like character witnesses against him, but if he's got exculpatory evidence that is going out, that is being looked at right now in the discovery phase of this whole investigation, and it's stuff saying like they got the cab driver apparently said, no, this did not go down the way that a lot of people think it did. I saw it with my own eyes. There's some video, apparently. There's the text messages. Now, I think they just in the last 24 hours released a video of the girl who apparently that night was out at a bar partying it up and drinking with some friends. And even though it was assumed that she had a broken hand or some kind of hand injury, she was pretty clear on video digging in her purse for a credit card to go throw some money around at the bar. So no hand injury, apparently. I don't really know. I haven't seen the video, so I have no idea what's actually on it. But I mean, I don't know. I would be a liar if I said my confidence that this situation was going to work out positively for Jonathan Majors is as high as it was a couple of weeks ago. But I really kind of want this to play itself out quickly for the sake of the MCU, and because I just a couple of weeks ago was saying that I think in these words that we're in the age of Jonathan Majors, that the guy's talent is singularly fantastic. And I think that he could do a lot of stuff and do it very, very well. But if this is how he acts, then maybe I don't want this to be the age of Jonathan Majors. I don't know. Jeremy, what do you think? There's a lot to process. We're really only ankle deep in this whole mess at this point as it is. How do you process the information we've gotten on this so far?
Well, as you kind of said, it's like it kind of I would like for it to not be true, but it also just kind of it starts to diminish more and more when you start hearing stuff like this. But the big key word to me, though, is, I mean, again, I like to live in a perfect world, too, where the legal system actually, works. But this all is still just allegations. That doesn't mean that this happened. So, and I know it's a weird spot to be in, because now it's like, this person dropped and this person dropped and this person stopped, now we're not dealing with him anymore. I know it's because you don't want to be seen dealing with somebody who, I mean, to be fair, even has allegations of such. But it's like, if you do, I mean, one fine example is with a few years ago with Chris Hardwick, like his own company that he started, by the way. Like, I think maybe about 30 seconds after that allegation dropped, they dropped him. And I'm like, okay, well, hold on now. You didn't even, I'm like, just because,
And up in a YouTuber guy from Popcorn Planet, too. He was on another channel that he created. And a girl faked these lies about being sexually harassed. And it messed up a lot of things. He basically got kicked out of it. He now has been cleared of it. She admitted she lied. But it ruined his life in a lot of ways. Yeah,
and I'm like, that's dumb that you waste this person's time. And then the messed up thing is, like, I don't even think Nerdist even like apologized to Chris Hardwick. I mean, we found out. I was like, as far as I know, like, I don't even think they apologized to him. I'm like, yeah, that's real fucking awkward. You got a backpedal now, like, oh shit, buddy. I'm like, he gave you all a job, and I mean, come on. I know you don't want to, if your head guy gets accused of this, and I know that's kind of a terrible thing to be associated with. But I mean, Jesus, like, we found, I mean, it was a real quick, oh yeah, they went and talked to her and then she didn't want to help or she like left or something. I'm like, well, here's your damn sign. You know, pretty shut and closed case. And then I'm like, yeah, well, what the hell? Why are we? And even so, like you said, even if they get proven innocent, it's like, well, you might as well just kiss your whole life goodbye, because it's not. Again, I like for things to work out fairly in this world, but it doesn't actually do that. It's still you still lose stuff, even if you're proven to be innocent. And it's dumb that people get away with that. I'm like, I have always said, and I'm going to go on record now, I'm like, I swear to Christ, if someone does that shit, they put some allegations on you and they found out that it wasn't true, slap that motherfucker with the charge that they were going to get if that had been true. Watch how fast that shit stops.
Yep.
Give them the fucking sentence of what would have been to that person if they were guilty. If you fucking sling an allegation like that, like, it'll stop real fucking fast. Quit being a piece of shit. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
That should be my little sign off. Like, be nice and quit being a piece of shit, people.
Yeah. I don't know. Tex, what do you think about all this? I mean, again, we're only about ankle deep in this whole, in the muck that is this whole situation, but you know, it's hard to figure out where to stand on this thing. What do you think?
Well, I mean, situations like this, besides the points that y'all have already brought up, there's a couple things here. Number one, anybody that starts with, well, Ezra Miller still has a job, don't do that. Don't be one of those people like, if that's a very childish thing to do. Yes, Ezra Miller's a child grooming piece of crap and should have been fired, but his parents are DC and Warner Brothers. Let them handle their own deal. That has no bearing on this. Number two, you know, it's very sad, but we can't believe when somebody says something bad happened to me anymore. Because if Johnathan Majors actually did all of these things, he needs to just end him. He needs to be done. But, you know, if he really did all of these things, why didn't somebody come forward before? You know, if these things happen on a Marvel set, how often do things leak on a Marvel set? Somebody snuck in a cell phone. You can't tell me nobody wouldn't have said something by now. So we got to let justice have its day. We can't go doing a witch hunt. Like I said, you know, when we brought this up a few weeks ago, let's not forget what happened in Me Too and Believe All Women. How many of them were liars? So we have to, you know, Johnathan Majors is owed his day. Let the truth come out. Now, where the cards fall, we'll deal with it from there. But, you know, we're so reactive these days, especially with social media. Somebody can plaster a picture of Johnathan Majors and put sources say he ran over a bus full of nuns, and people would lose their minds because it was on Twitter. But, you know, check your sources. Wait for the truth to come out. Now, it is getting ugly. I mean, the DA hasn't released this. More news keeps coming out. He keeps losing projects. It does not look good right now. But like with the Chris Hardwick thing was brought up, with the popcorn, Planet Popcorn guy, whatever. There's so many other guys, or not just guys, but people that this has happened to, that you got to be careful, because if you go accusing and you're wrong, then you look like an idiot. So,
but what do they have to worry about, Tex? They're not going to get slapped with anything, and they don't have to.
Well, yeah, no, yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's nobody's held accountable for, you did this wrong thing to me, but you know, I lied, so I'm just going to go hold my head in shame, and the rest of your life and career is ruined. Because let's say Johnathan Majors is innocent of all these claims. This puts his Creed job at risk. I'm sure they'd like to have him back for a rematch and a sequel in Creed 4 or something. He is literally the face of Marvel villains. He is thousands of characters in that universe right now. God knows what other projects was coming up. I saw he was going to do something with my Texas Rangers. I don't know what that was. Probably some kind of promotional video they played in the stadium or something. I don't know what that's going to be. But literally, this guy's entire life is on risk here. And if he's innocent of this, well, you know, he deserves some, you know, justification. But if he's guilty, let's string him up by his toenails and beat him with 2x4s. So, you know, but either way, let the truth have its day, people. Don't just rush out to virtue signal to look good on Twitter or Instagram or whatever. It's so many people are doing that. kind of ugly.
Yeah, Cora, I want a female's perspective on this from Cora because, I mean, again, if he's guilty of something, I want him to be punished. If he's not guilty, I want him to be able to get his life back. You know, one of the other things that happened is he was on the board for Gotham something or other, some film, not critics, but some film awards thing, and he has voluntarily stepped back from that for now because if he is found innocent of all this, it kind of leaves the door open for him to rejoin that group. But if they kick him out and then he's found innocent, it's kind of really, really difficult to kind of find your way back. I mean, so I mean, from a woman's perspective, I mean, what do you think of all this? I mean, are you thinking
I'll say this for all those people to set him aside. I have heard of this happening, of privately without it being made public. Either the executives of these companies asking people they know within the police force for an actual opinion of what the charges are and the evidence, and or speaking to the victims directly and asking them what happened so they can make a judgment call. I've heard of both of these things happening in situations like this. So potentially I am sure that before they cut ties, each of these organizations or persons in his whatever affiliation had some investigation done to see what actually probably happened, and probably had some hard data, some information, and interviews to help make them decision. And so to me, it's telling that multiple people are cutting ties, and it's not just a project putting something on hold. They actually stopped being his manager. They actually stopped working with him. So to me, that says something. I do think that the DA's office has to be careful what they say. But I also think that the DA's office, if it was not that big of a deal, would have come out by now and said, you know, we're handling this. We can't say much, but we see all the stuff in the press and we really, you know, or he should have hired somebody, like I was joking about Gloria earlier. If he's, if this evidence he claimed he had, you know, vindicates him, why hasn't he come forward with it? Why hasn't he got a PR firm working for him, trying to fix this? There are so many little things that just scream this is legit in some way, and it's just taking its time. And because of false accusations being so common, I understand the initial let's pause, let's see what it is. But I do think that there was probably some investigation, whether it's talking to the victims privately through an investigator or talking to the police force as an anonymous informant. There's got to be something that gave them. It's telling. I'll say that.
Well, sometimes when it comes to these PR and the management dropping him, sometimes these people just have kind of a knee-jerk reaction because, you know, one of the things we've seen in the last 10 or 12 years in Hollywood since the Me Too thing started is that the allegation alone kind of makes a lot of people, a lot of companies back away from you in the industry. So maybe they're just like, well, he's accused of this. We don't really care what the truth is. We just don't want our names attached to it because it might be bad for business. So they're like, we're going to go ahead and walk away now. And sometimes they even feel some internal pressure. I mean, it's not outside the realm of possibility that like the management and the PR firms, like some of their other big name, big money clients went to them and said, hey, we don't know if we're going to stay with you if you stay with Johnathan Majors. And they're like, well, fucking A. Sure, we're getting. You don't think after
Johnny Depp that these places in Hollywood would not be cautious to not be those people that have to, you know, explain?
I think they want money in the long run. I think they want to keep their names and reputation because it's that kind of town. I mean, LA and Washington, D.C. are exactly the same kind of, they're company towns. One's just politics and one's entertainment. They're the exact same town. They exist in this.
Sometimes they swap, and it's kind of hilarious to watch.
Yeah, well, sometimes, yeah, but I mean, they are the identical things. They are in their own little bubble. One part of the bubble feeds the other, and that's just the way it is in that town. And so, if you've got 4 or 5 big name people who are saying, if you stick with this guy, we don't know if we're going to stick with you, then you're like, well, yeah, we're getting. I don't know how much they get paid from Johnathan Majors. Let's just say $1 million a year. If we're going to get $1 million a year from Johnathan Majors, that's great. But if we're going to lose $15 or $20 million a year because Brad Pitt or this other big actor or actress or whoever wants to bounce because we're still repping this guy, then it's a number issue. Then maybe you're talking about losing $50 million a year. They're looking at it and say, I got to make sure I keep this money. So I'll go ahead and sacrifice this, how much money I was getting from Johnathan Majors. and then I'm going to keep this 50 million other, coming in from these other people who are trying to question whether they want to stay with me or not. That's all it is. It's all self-preservation. Look, it's happened before in Hollywood. It's been happening constantly since the Me Too movement. So it could be something as simple as that. But you could be right. Maybe they did learn something through their own little kind of investigation. Maybe they dropped an envelope full of money on some detective's desk and were like, hey, how about you give me the skinny on this before it makes it out to public? Because I got to know how I'm rolling. I mean, it's not like that hasn't happened in Hollywood either.
Well,
but
there's something to this. Like I said, how much truth there is, we'll see. But for the one person that you haven't heard from is Johnathan Majors. He has been real quiet, real quick. And even when Johnny Depp was going through all of his stuff, and Ezra Miller, once he was not on the run, they spoke. They said something.
Well,
Johnathan
this guy
Majors,
probably is a lawyer telling him not to, though.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, I did the same thing after all the stuff started on the Rush shooting. I don't know why his lawyer let him go and do that interview. I was like, there's no way. Because I'm Johnathan Majors' lawyer, I'm saying, do not talk to anybody.
Right.
Because anything you say publicly can be put on record. And that's why I didn't understand why they were letting him, after the Rush shooting, they were letting Alec Baldwin go and do that interview with ABC. I was like, that's now record. Anything he says, if he says anything else in a disposition that is opposite of what he said on this thing, that's it. That's the ballgame, kid. It's over. You lose a lot of money. You're done. So that's why their lawyers aren't letting Johnathan Majors go out and talk, because it is an ongoing investigation. You don't want to say anything.
I'm not saying he has to come out and speak, but his representation or somebody needs to get out and say something on his behalf. Like, we've heard the accusations or the allegations or whatever. None of this is true. Just put up some kind of fight here, because if they don't watch out, this stuff's going to pile up so big on him, whether it's true or not. He won't be able to get out from under it. You know what I mean? So,
well, if he gets found innocent of all this, it's going to go away pretty quickly. I mean, if he gets found innocent of all this, even the people that are coming up and saying, "Oh yeah, I had this negative interaction with him 10 years ago or whatever," even all that stuff's going to get kind of pushed to the wayside, because you can't really prove it. That's one of the reasons I tell people it's important that if you deal with a situation like this, you get right up. Because as time
even
goes on,
if you're found innocent, though, the court of public opinion, once you're accused of that, it's hard to get that stink off of you, and they just keep wiping it on it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I don't know.
There have been some cases true. There's been a lot of cases like this. I mean, Michael Vick. Michael Vick.
Right.
I mean,
oh, yeah. This is what I'm saying. Right. I just, like I said, if he's truly innocent of this, and his attorneys believe that he is, obviously you don't put him in front of a camera, because I completely agree. That's going to do nothing but sink your battleship. But somebody needs to be standing up on this other side, because these scales are already tilting heavy one way, and if they keep going with it, it's only going to get worse. And they need to do something, because I mean, he was on the precipice of immortal fame, of MCU. He's got Rocky ties now. God knows what other roles he could have from the path that he's on. And if you don't fight for it, you're liable to lose it, whether it's true or not. I mean, yeah, Johnny Depp was vindicated, but he hasn't. I don't know of any big projects that he's even been announced for or offered to since all of his stuff.
He's got a movie that's debuting at Cannes. He's already got a couple of other things. I think he's.
Oh, does he? Okay.
So,
I guess I haven't heard the news or whatever. It hadn't came across my timeline or whatever. But I don't know. I just, like I said, guilty or innocent until proven guilty. But we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of these cards that ain't been played yet.
Yeah. Also, one thing to remember about him leaving some of these projects is some of them he's been dropped from. They've said, "Yeah, we're going to move on from you." Other ones he's actually taken himself out of the running for, so he hasn't been kicked off of some of these projects. He's got a production company that was making an Otis Redding biopic, and he was supposed to be playing Otis Redding. I guess he's kind of stepped away from that. He told his production company to cast somebody else. There's another one that he had just kind of walked away from. I forget the name of it. I'm drawing a blank on the name of it. But I mean, so yeah, some things he's been kind of not fired from. They've moved away from him. Other things he's decided to say, I am not doing this. Let's see. The Man in My Basement is one of the things with Protagonist Pictures that I guess he was actually dropped from. The Texas Rangers cut majors from their 2023 season ad campaign that was scheduled to launch on Friday. Let's see. There's a fashion house, Valentino, and him have mutually agreed to part. He was supposed to be going to the Met Gala, representing this fashion house, Valentino. He's officially been taken off the guest list for the Met Gala, which I think is.
Yeah, anytime somebody says we've mutually agreed, it's never like that. One side was like, yeah, we don't want you anymore, but we're going to let you stay face by mutually agreeing. That's how that actually goes. But,
there's another project. He's supposed to be playing Dennis Rodman in a Lionsgate film called 48 Hours in Vegas. That probably would have been a lot of fun to watch.
I was going to say, I'm kind of sad that one's not getting made. That sounds like fun.
That's one that people are watching. There has been no official decision made on that one. Let's see. There's also one, hang the balance. There's a Spike Lee movie called The Understudy from Amazon. They haven't made a decision on yet. Majors still attached and to star and produce alongside Will Smith of all people. But the project hasn't moved forward since it was announced in March. It's still kind of early in that movie anyway. But yeah, and obviously we don't know what Marvel's going to do yet, but they can't do anything really other than just kind of wait and see what happens. I mean, he may decide to jump in front of a camera tomorrow. Yeah, I did it. I mean, and that's when Marvel.
It wouldn't be the first time. It wouldn't be the first time Marvel's had to recast a role. I mean, yeah, of this significance, sure, but I mean they've done it. They did it with Terrence Howard and what's his face for Brody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, the Terrence Howard thing was more about money. It's not because Terrence Howard went and got himself in trouble. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No. I'm not saying it's legal problems, but they have recasted before, and it's a multiverse. They one line of dialogue, right? So they now he looks different because the Soul Stone activated, and now this Kang is he's even worse than the last one or whatever. I don't know, whatever.
And now Edward Norton looks like Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, now here's Mark. Oh yeah, there you go, Edward Norton and Mark Ruffalo. Thank you. There's another one. I mean, like I said, I mean, as famously said on this channel, you're one line of dialogue away in an MCU movie from being on Mars with Rocket Raccoon or something. Who knows?
You're on the moon with
it's. Yeah. I mean, it won't be hard to recast him now. Will the possibly new Kang be accepted as well as Jonathan Majors? We'll see. But I mean, who knows?
Loki season 2 is gonna be wild.
If we get it,
it is gonna be wild. We'll be breaking. We'll get it. They don't have no choice but to at this point. I mean, you can't not do it. You already spent the money making it all. It's already in the can. You've got to put it out. It's the same thing with Ezra Miller and The Flash. They were like, it was one thing to take the bath on Batgirl because they didn't think that movie was going to make you a lot of money anyway. But it's like
when I saw it look like garbage anyways.
We were counting on that movie making us a little bit of money, and it's supposedly pretty good, so we may as well take a chance and put it out. Yeah. But I don't know. Go down in the comments and let us know what you guys think. I mean, like I said, we're really only in the opening stages of this drama surrounding Jonathan Majors. We have no idea how long this is going to last. It could all be wrapped up in the next couple of weeks. He could all be found innocent. They could drop the charges if they like all this, or they can continue to press charges. And this thing ends up dragging out for a while, certainly into the production skill for Kang Dynasty. So I don't know. Go down in the comments and let us know what you guys think of the Jonathan Majors drama and where it might go. Lady Cora, what's the next topic we'll be going into tonight?
Something I'm looking forward to. Galaxy Quest is going from a fictional series to an actual TV series. Paramount Plus is teaming with its studio counterpart, Paramount Television Studios, for a live-action adaptation of the 1999 Great Year I Graduated High School cult favorite sci-fi spoof. Sources say the project is in early development stages and a search is underway for a writer to pair with Mark Johnson. This is not Paramount TV Studios' first attempt to adapt Galaxy Quest for television. The studio first developed a new take on it, starring on the beloved movie that starred Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, Alan Rickman, rest in peace, Tony Shalhoub, and Sam Rockwell as a ragtag group of actors from a space-focused canceled TV show in 2015. Jeremy, do you think a Galaxy Quest TV show will work?
Not without Alan Rickman, man.
Hey, he's dead. We don't have
Thank
options.
you. That was my first thought.
I was like, oh no, man, it's not the same. I know Tim Allen's still around, and obviously so is Sigourney Weaver. But I mean, again, I have to ask the question: what is this? Is this a new chapter? Let's make that merch. Me just going like it's a new chapter.
Wait till Scream 7. Well, it's not a prequel, a sequel. It's a new chapter. You know, when Mindy says that in the next speech or something.
I hope that'd
be great.
Yeah, because then I'm like, I don't know what my opinion is. Can you tell me what this fucking movie is? Or this is a TV show, rather?
Come on, man.
Look.
All right, Joe.
You asked. All right. I don't know. It's
got to be better than Twister, unrelated to the first one, 2.0.
Well, remember, yeah. I don't know. As a series, I mean, maybe. I mean, didn't we kind of already... Didn't Seth MacFarlane kind of do something like this where it's like a goofy spoof of like Star Trek? Yeah, like a Star Trek type of thing.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like...
The first couple seasons were good. We tried to make it more serious. It didn't work.
Yeah. If it's like just stay funny, just make it, I know, like, I think me and Frank have talked about this before, like, whatever happened to like spoof movies, and it's like, can you even really do that now? It's like, I don't know. That's a
scary movie.
Yeah, it's like that's a dangerous water you're heading into there, because it's like, I don't know, people just can't have a sense of humor anymore or find things funny. But again, I don't know what this is supposed to be. I mean, it's a big galaxy. Who knows? And are any of the old people coming back? Right. So it could work as a series, but I don't know. There's a funny one-off movie, but I don't know about a series, because you got to, like we just said with the one with Seth MacFarlane, you got to keep it being funny. That's the thing,
Well, you have to kind of keep it what worked for you in the beginning. And that was my problem with the Orville, is that in the beginning it was some pretty decent sci-fi mixed in with kind of equal parts that Seth MacFarlane, Family Guy, American Dad kind of humor. Yeah. And then once they went from Fox to being exclusively on Hulu, they tried to turn it into much more of a serious science fiction thing. And I'm like, you just kind of reworked the DNA of your show, and it's not the same now. I mean, it was still decent sci-fi, but it was obviously more of a Star Trek knockoff than it was kind of this parody or satire around it. I don't know, it didn't work for me, but I don't know. Tex, what do you think? I mean, do you think that this could work? Because the first movie's, not only was it really successful when it came out, it's also built up kind of a pretty thick fan following since then. Do you think that a TV show could work?
I think there's only one way this works. Obviously, Alan Rickman, they should have done something before he passed, because he's integral to this. But that he's gone, we got to move on. I think the only way this works is if they keep the existing film, the cult classic, the whatever. Keep that as it is. Keep that as the end point of this, right? So no matter what they do with this, that's where it ends up. And they recreate the show within that movie. Actually make that show with the 90s aesthetic or whatever they want to do to it. Then I think it would be successful. Yes, you can go forward and you can do something. You can do it afterwards or whatever. But I think the best way to do this, basically do a knockoff Star Trek The Next Generation, but the Galaxy Quest version of it. Make it completely in-world. Do the whole stab thing in the Scream movies.
Well, I think that's what this is going to be, because the first line of this article is Galaxy Quest is going from a fictional series to an actual series. So I don't think this is going to be the Galaxy Quest movie where they were a bunch of actors going around to cons doing stuff and making it a series. I think it's actually going to be a series set in space in that universe. So we're going.
No. I'm saying that if I were doing this, I would make that fictional show a real show now. So Tim Allen is still Tim Allen. Oh, is that what that actually is?
Yeah. It's like I said, the first line is Galaxy Quest is going from a fictional series, because Galaxy Quest was the series
Right.
of the movie, the series, to an actual TV
Right.
series. So it's going to be something that is based in space with these characters, not the
Right.
characters.
But see, but there's where mine differs. I wouldn't base mine in space. I would have mine set in Hollywood, where they're literally making the show, making the fictional show that exists within that world, is what I would do. I wouldn't have it be actually in space, like at the end where you find out all these things are actually real, blah, 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 whatever. That's the show that I would make. Can it be successful? Sure. Will it be huge? I don't know. I kind of think we're overloaded with the Star Treks and the Star Wars right now. And I think you're probably going to get the cult fan base that likes the Galaxy Quest stuff. I don't see it being like a huge, not even really Mandalorian levels, if I have to be honest. Well, they have to keep it light, like y'all said, have to keep it fun. But they need to focus more on the comedy than the sci-fi. What was that one? I can't. It's a newer Star Trek show that came out. It was more of a comedic base. Underdeck or Below the Deck. Below Decks. I didn't watch that. I did see the previews of it. But if they went for something similar comedically wise like that, I think it could work. Now, do we know if Tim Allen and Sigourney Weaver are coming back or not?
Well, that's kind of one of the things that is in flux, because it says that in 2015 they were trying to do this, but then they were talking to Sam Rockwell. He was quoted as saying, "We were ready to sign up, and then Alan Rickman passed away, and then Tim Allen wasn't available because he had Last Man Standing going at the time, and everybody's schedules were weird. It was going to shoot like right now, and how do you fill that void of Alan Rickman? That's hard to fill." Rockwell said in April 2016, 3 months after Rickman died of cancer. So they were pretty close to making this thing happen. However many 8 years ago or so, and then Alan Rickman passed away, and that kind of threw everything in flux. Tim Allen, of course, was still doing Last Man Standing, so his filming schedule wasn't as open as maybe they would have wanted it to have been. But now you're looking at not having Rickman. There's some stuff surrounding Tim Allen that we don't really know where that's going yet, if it goes anywhere. So Sigourney Weaver, is she going to come back into a TV show? Maybe. I don't see her doing it. Nobody else comes back. At this point, if you can only bring one of them back, that being Sigourney Weaver, you may as well recast the whole damn thing and make it a sci-fi show. That's kind of where I'm at.
Right, but I don't think if it's just generic sci-fi show called Galaxy Quest, I think it's going to be just like the argument that we threw out for Twister. It's just Twister in name only. It's only Galaxy Quest if you've got Alan, Rockwell, Weaver. If you don't have these people, it's not going to. It's basically the equivalent of what they did with Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. But there's no Michael Myers in it. You just get the name, and we saw what kind of hate that got for 30 years. So they need to come out and say, okay, here's who the cast is. And depending on where they go from that, it's going to make a big difference on how it's responded. Like I said, if it's just generic sci-fi with a little bit of humor, it's going to get lost in the weeds. It'll end up on Netflix in 6 months and then fade off into eternity.
It's actually going to be for Paramount Plus.
Or Paramount Plus, whatever.
I find kind of interesting. Paramount Plus has been killing it with some of the sci-fi stuff lately. So.
Okay. Well, that might be even worse, actually, because it'll just be generic, sci-fi show on a streaming service already full of sci-fi shows. So if it doesn't stand out, it's going to look even worse. You know what I mean? By comparison.
I don't know, Lady Cora. What do you think? You were pretty excited about this concept as you were reading the lead-in. I mean, do you think this can work, and what do you think it's going to look like if they try it?
I think if they're going to try it, they're going to have to cast it very carefully. I think they're going to have to think about how they go about it, because I don't want them to make it stupid or make the lore of Galaxy Quest or the way it's been remembered. I don't want them to ruin Galaxy Quest. I want them to either bring it up a notch or don't do it. think casting will be key. The story and the plot can be whatever, as long as it's written well and it looks funny and doesn't make the other one look stupid. I'm good with it. I could care less what the plot is. The concept of it is funny.
I don't know. Well, I mean, the plot's gonna matter. I mean, if you're trying to make this a TV series and not just an hour and a half or 2 hour long movie, the plot's gonna matter because it's gonna have to be something that carries for.
What if it's a limited series and it's only like one season?
I mean, honestly, I think that would be better off because then you wouldn't have to worry about stretching a plot line over the course of 3 or 4 seasons or trying to find a way to get 3 or 4 more seasons of relevance. You could hone your story down, you could streamline it all, and then tell it over the course of 6, 8, 10 episodes, however long you want it to go. And then you would be able to tell a much more cohesive story. I actually think that'd be the best way to do it. But again, it all comes to, what do you want this to be? Do you want it to be comical? Do you want it to look kind of like what the Orville was early in its run? Because I think that'd be fun. Do you want it to be a spoof, which is kind of what Galaxy Quest was? It was basically a big Star Wars spoof or a Star Trek spoof. So I mean, it's like, what do you want it to be? If you want it to be serious sci-fi, you might run into a problem because that's where what Tech said about kind of getting lost in the weeds of all the other sci-fi stuff they're doing on Paramount Plus right now. That you're going to have to stand out. You're going to have to stand alongside the good Star Trek stuff they're doing on Paramount Plus right now. Like, I just watched the last episode of Picard. Good God. I mean, that was the most high Star Trek I've seen in years.
Well, what if they do the Lost in Space route? The TV show is a comedy. The movie was serious. What if they're going to take Galaxy Quest and go serious and take the comedy out of it?
That's one possibility.
It wouldn't really be Galaxy Quest.
It worked for the Lost in Space movie because there were people who never saw the Lost in Space TV show who liked the movie.
Yeah, you're talking about people that aired literally 60 years ago. I mean,
I know.
Or 40 years
I'm
ago.
Weird. I know all the old TV shows. Have you seen the Honeymooners? I've seen it all.
There is one thing to take into account here, though. Tim Allen, he's still acting. He's doing I know he has season 2 of that Santa Claus's show that he will be doing. It's not like he's doing, it's not like he's completely free either. I don't know what other, I know Last Man Standing was a great show. It's not going anymore. But like I said, he's doing that Santa Claus's deal, which I don't know how much time that would take, but Sigourney Weaver, wasn't she in the new Avatar?
I don't know.
She did voice stuff. Well, yeah, she was doing mocap, I'm sure, but yeah, she was
wasn't she doing? Yeah.
I mean,
and
Sam Rockwell.
She's actually playing. I heard she's playing a much more significant role in the new Ghostbusters movie as well. It's not just a cameo.
Oh shit!
And not to mention, I've also heard that Sam Rockwell is apparently in that Armor Wars deal for the MCU as well. That they're bringing him back for Justin Hammer. So maybe this is a complete recast. I mean, Tony Shalhoub, I don't know of anything that he's doing.
Oh, Wings. He was on that show Monk. He's funny.
No, I mean doing now. I don't know what he's doing now. I know he was Monk and he was all those things. But I don't know what he's doing now.
Like in the fucking 90s, though? That was a long time ago.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about current projects here. So I'm just kind of forecasting, what are these actors doing now? Would they even be able to be free to do an entire series?
How much money? How money hungry are they? That's
you got to remember, this is going to be filming right now. I mean, it's like
no. I'm not saying.
I'm sure. I mean, schedule stuff is worked out eventually. It's just the question is what would this be? Do you even want it to be? Do you want it to be serious? Do you want it to be comedy? Do you want it to be kind of a mixture of both, like what the Orville was?
If it's not comedy, it's got to be. I mean, whenever you've got Justin Long as a stable of the whole Galaxy Quest, Justin Long has to be in this as well. Let's also not forget him. I mean, he was integral to the ending of that movie. So, I mean, the comedic aspect has to be there. You can't just do generic sci-fi show that's based off of a blah blah blah. You can't do that.
Okay, Tony Shalhoub is currently in a show on Amazon called The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Mrs. Maisel.
And he's done a
Yeah,
few
but they're
other
done
things.
filming
He's
that. That's the
actively
last season.
working.
So I was gonna say he probably made a.
Well, that series is actually airing the last season as we speak, so he's done filming on that. He's not actively on it anymore.
Well,
but yes, he has been on.
Like I said, if it were me, I would film the fictional TV show that's based in that world and not something that takes place after. It would be a time period kind of thing. Now, obviously, you're gonna, all the actors are older, so you would have to recast. But if it were me, that's how I would do it. But
I kind of like the idea of exploring the world inside the movie and making it a straight up sci-fi thing. I mean, look, like I said, Paramount's been killing it with the Star Trek stuff lately. Why not take some of that creative juice, especially now that Picard's done? And I mean, I know they're really going. They're actually releasing what they refer to as Phase 2 of the Star Trek universe, which I think is hilarious.
So I was gonna say, I just saw a trailer for some new Star Trek thing they're doing the other day.
Yeah, they're not done with Star Trek at all. I mean, it's been killing the show, if not the movies. But I mean, I don't know. I think it could be interesting if you do like a straight up sci-fi thing and take some of the things that, like, they talk about in the movie, the episodes they talk about, and fleshing them out into a real story. It could be kind of fun. Then you have cameos for people like maybe Sigourney Weaver plays an alien in a couple episodes, or she's the president of whatever their federation is, and she gets a little bit of screen time on the viewer every now and again. Like Ted Danson gets in the Orville. Like every now and again he'll pop in and for like a little cameo, and he's the head of the federation or whatever. So I mean, I don't know. There's lots of things you could do. It's just, what is this going to be? Again, it's like, I don't know. It's hard to say. If it is, I mean, it could be interesting to see, like what Tex was saying, that it's going to be about them making the TV show rather than the series itself. And they've tried that here and there in TV shows before, kind of that format. But I mean, it's never really had that way of doing things. Has never really had a great amount of success. So I think that's one of the reasons why you haven't seen more people doing it over the years. As a matter of fact, I can't remember the last, other than something like The Newsroom, kind of, where it's kind of like behind the scenes making a nightly news show at a major news network, which is kind of the same thing, but not really. Unless it's something like that has been different. But I mean, it's not a way of filming that has always worked. And they've tried it a couple of times, I can remember.
It's just, I mean, think about it. With something as off the wall as Galaxy Quest was, whatever they do going forward has to have that same vibe to it. And they've already showed you that version of it where they actually go into space, which to me, that's the easy answer. Let's just take this thing back out to the galaxy, and now Tim Allen's a real, ship captain or whatever. But I don't know. Like I said, if I was in charge of this, I'd go goofy with it. I'd go comedic with it, because it feels like that's where the money is for it. I don't know. That's just, depending on how you want to do it. And I mean, we don't even know if we're getting Tim Allen and Sigourney Weaver in the back. We don't know. So, I mean, until we hear that, we're speculating at best.
I don't know. This could go a lot of different ways. Alan has a son that is acting, doesn't he? Let me look real quick.
I don't know.
I could
I think so. I think so.
I don't know.
I could have sworn that one of his kids was acting. Let me look real quick. I mean, because it's possible you could get Alan Rickman's son or something like that.
Well, I mean, that's what they do with Ghostbusters, right? So, I mean, if it worked for them, why not? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, he was directing, but what is that?
Yeah, same premise though. You know what I mean? He could be there in spirit. I don't know. I don't think I would want to put this with the. Yes, it makes sense to put it on Paramount Plus, but I'm not sure I would want to put it there just for fear of overload on the sci-fi stuff. How many Star Trek shows do they have on there? 3 or 4 or 5? I don't even know anymore. And if this isn't really, really good, it's going to get forgotten about. I mean, maybe this is one you sell to whoever. I don't know. There's, whatever you do with it. But I feel like that's a bad move. You know what I mean?
Alan Rickman had no kids.
Really?
I could have swore I heard he had a kid that was involved in the industry somehow. I forget.
I thought he had a son too. I'm surprised. Okay, well, I'm thinking of something else then. I don't know. I don't know. It's got to have the comedic power.
Michael, but he's a politician somewhere in the UK. So,
Oh,
yeah, there you go. Well, it is what it is. I don't know. Hopefully it's funny because that movie was great. I mean, I'm not a big sci-fi guy, but Galaxy Quest was great. I mean, you've got, obviously, Sigourney Weaver with the alien ties, and I mean, Alan Rickman made that movie. I mean, I'm a huge Tim Allen fan. I grew up on Home Improvement and everything else, Santa Claus movies, whatever. But Alan Rickman made that movie for me. So, it was. They gotta get the band back together in some version on the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't know. A lot of different directions this could go. I'm interested to see what they do with it. I personally think they should just kind of go straight up sci-fi, but again, I don't know what their plans are, who they're eyeballing to maybe be in it. I mean, again, no, you're missing one of the key members of the cast with Alan Rickman. Sam Rockwell's still around. I mean, you could do a continuation. Maybe Rockwell is the captain now. Oh, there's a possibility.
He was
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, he played the young kid on that show. Sam Rockwell played the young kid on that fictional TV show within Galaxy Quest movie, I think.
I don't know. Lots of different directions we could go with it, but go down in the comments below. Let us know what you guys think. Do you want to see a Galaxy Quest TV show somehow wind up on Paramount Plus? Again, I kind of want to know what it is before I say yes or no. But I mean, I'm open to it because if you can kind of keep the spirit of the original movie, which was fun, was kind of especially if you're a big sci-fi fan, it does kind of poke fun at you a little bit. In a way that's not like obtuse and stupid. You get all the jokes. You're like, yeah, I understand why you're playing it the way we dress at cons and stuff like that. But I don't know. Go down in the comments and let us know what you guys think about the idea of a Galaxy Quest TV show. Lady Cora, what's the next topic we'll be going into tonight?
It will be the last one, and one I believe Jeremy is ready for. So, The Mandalorian wrapped up season 3 in a very Star Wars kind of way this week. Fans finally got to see Bo-Katan face off with Moff Gideon. Epic battles. Mandalorian began its journey back to. The Mandalorian began its journey back to prominence and a happy ending for now. For Din Djarin.
Din Djarin.
Sorry, a dog just jumped on my lap and distracted me. And his newly adopted son, Din Grogu. The finale, of course, left us with some questions, as it should. Frank, what do you think of the final episode of The Mandalorian season 3? And let's forget how fucking much fumbled that shit. Ah! Sorry. Having issues.
Somebody needs to make a clip of this channel every now and again and some of the stupid shit that we say, like the different Drew show.
No.
but
I heard that last text. Bad touch for
Clips channel. Clips channel. I better get a whole playlist of bad touch text.
I was like, there's going to be like a clip of all the squirrel moments, all the bad
touches. I got 5 last night. So.
Yeah, I said earlier that as a fan of both Star Wars and Star Trek, the last 48 hours or so have just been phenomenal. I got a really, really great ending to Picard season 3. That series finale this entire season actually was just absolute fire. It's such a great way to make up for the train wreck that was season 2 of Picard. But and especially that little post-credit scene at the end, yeah, that was a little something. That one kind of knocked me off the couch for a minute.
Covering my ears.
But yeah, I won't spoil it for you. But the post-credit scene had me baffled, excited, confused, and jaw on the floor. But I mean,
Beverly and Picard get married.
That has nothing to do with anything.
I know.
But that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other thing. But But we also got the last couple episodes of The Mandalorian. I mean, yeah, we shit on episode 6. We shit on that episode, rightly so, but episodes 7 and 8 were absolute bangers, and episode 8 was no different at all. I mean, that was one of the great. It's like some of the later Marvel movies, as you get closer to like Endgame, there's no setup. It's like we know where we are in this world. It's just like bang, 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 right to it. We're in the story. We're balls deep. We're just in it, and it's just 2.5 hours of just solid, great story, and just moving through this world, and sometimes at a breakneck pace. And this last episode was exactly that to me. I mean, the way the last episode left off, you kind of figured it would start like this, but everything that we needed to get to finish up season 3, it was tied up beautifully in this last episode, I think. It left us with a few questions. They kind of a little bit in the last couple episodes make up for the whole giving her the Darksaber thing. Not really, but I mean, it didn't hurt as bad because these last couple episodes went so well. I was able to just kind of look past it. But yeah, I mean, there's again so much great story. Where we see Din Djarin and Grogu now, I think is what's going to carry the rest of the show. Because a lot of people with this whole season were like, well, if he's not trying to get Grogu to the Jedi, what's this story about now? It's like, well, the story changed. It's not going to be just the same old shit of him trying to find the Jedi. It's their situation has evolved, their relationship has evolved. Din Djarin as a being has evolved into something else. So it's not just going to be the same old story. I like where this whole season went in the long term. Yeah, one episode that they flubbed really, really bad, but a fantastic ending to me. I don't know, Jeremy, I'll go to you first. A lot to process in this episode. A lot of big things happen. Some big reveals, obviously. How did this episode break down for you? What are a couple of things that really stood out?
Well, now we have a broken Darksaber, which is sad. So that sucks. Also, I don't know why the thought popped in my head when we got to this part of the show. It was that first picture you showed there with them, the 3 of them in the fire. I was like, somebody frame that. That's the new family photo for them. His mom, dad, and son all out there kicking ass. Yeah. I was like, that's a great family portrait right there. That's the shot. Man, I don't know. As many stepdad jokes as we make, I mean, it's for real now. That's kind of adorable. I like that, he wants to actually, take care of him and now watch over him and have Grogu as his apprentice. I don't know how the naming works. I assume like it's kind of like that's his family name, and then like that's his actual name. So I'm like, is his name Djarin? And then like Din is like his family thing.
Yeah. I thought of that too, because I was thinking back to Jango Fett and Boba Fett. Yeah. And I was like, it seems like Fett's the last name, so
Fett's their name, yeah.
So I thought maybe it's like Grogu Djarin would have made a little more sense in that, but I'm like, I don't know if there's some way that this thing works I don't really understand, or maybe I'm not read up on, but I thought that was weird. I mean, I didn't mind in the end, but I just thought it was different.
I don't know. It's kind of cool. At first it kind of felt like the really god awful, like when they were naming the kids in Harry Potter. Like, you don't name your kid Albus Severus and try to make that actually sound like it makes sense coming out of your fucking mouth. Whatever. I'm sorry, Alan Rickman. I'm sorry we did that to your character. Also sucks you got second billing to Albus Dumbledore, but whatever. You deserved better, man. Yeah, but I don't know. It's kind of cool that like it. I think Tex, we talked about this too. Is like it's like, well, he's not really just this kind of gruff bounty hunter going all over the place doing what he does best. And I'm like, well, I kind of feel like we got back to that now. I mean, he went and kind of got that set up with what was that pilot's name? Teva? Carson?
Oh, yeah. I've got it right here for me. Hold on.
I don't know his name.
The New Republic pilot. What was his name?
Yeah, I know. It's a guy with the gray beard. I know you're talking about.
Captain Teva.
Teva. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of cool that it was even kind of like, it's funny how well he expresses emotion, even though he has a helmet on. When he's like, I don't know, man, I got to think about it. He's like, oh, you already did. He had that little smirk on his face, like, come on, you thought about it. So now he's just kind of like case by case basis, like you said, just kind of taking jobs, kind of just being like an under the table, like when you can't get the job done, he's your A team now. Like he's your last
Right.
line.
If you can find him, they make it help you.
Right, you find his cabin on Navarro. Right, that's true. Someone remix the Mandalorian theme to the A team. That'd be awesome.
Replace the van with the Starfighter.
Oh my god, he needs to give that M1 a paint job. Make it like the black with the red stripe going down it or something. Oh, that'd be sweet. So I don't know. It seems like it's like everything's kind of sometimes I hate when it does stuff like that, but at the same time I don't. I like with Walking Dead. It's like, oh, I like that it ended on like okay, everything's cool. Like we're all in kind of happy place right now. But then that worries me. I'm like, oh crap, what's gonna go off next? You know what I mean? Or like, where do we go from here? I'd still just be kind of mad if they made a kind of a big cliffhanger. Although, like I said, there's kind of cliffhangers. I mean, we quite literally dropped a whole ship on Moff Gideon, and he also burnt the Darksaber in half. And I'm like, well, I mean, continuity wise, I mean, this is the longest we've seen the Darksaber, and now it's kind of that's kind of broke. I don't know how we plan on dealing with that, or what I mean, they lit the Forge, which was cool. I don't know what the Mandalorians are going to do now on their planet. I guess the Forge is back. I don't know. Oh, you know what? If the crystal's not damaged, I'm like, I mean, that'd be the shitty part if the crystal was damaged. What if they reforge that Darksaber out of some Beskar? Wouldn't that be sweet?
That'd be sweet.
Or just as a little like middle finger to Moff Gideon. What if they somehow find his Beskar armor and they remelt that shit down into the saber? His armor was black, and the handle of the saber is like a dark metal. So I mean, like it would be kind of funny if they took his armor, melted it, and then they had a new saber out of it. That'd be sick. I don't know. There's happy ending, I guess.
Happy ending for now. Yeah,
I know.
Because remember, they've already said that the 4th season is already written. It's just a matter of getting everybody in front of a camera and yelling actions. So they've already got plans for where things go in the 4th season. We just don't know what they are yet. I don't know. Tex, what are some of the things about this episode that jumped out at you? It's a pretty ballsy episode from start to finish. There was a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of my favorite parts of the episode was watching Din Djarin finally like man up, and he just totally snaps that dude's neck as he's fighting him in the beginning of the episode. Like he straight up just General Zod's him right out of the way, buddy. He's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that was really cool. I dug the fighting. It felt very John Wick. I mean, he's like grabbing a knife out of a guy's boot, stabbing him. He takes his weapon and goes forward, left and right. The action was on point. We didn't need storytelling in this episode, like you said, Frank. We knew why we're here, and we know what we're here to do. This episode delivered. I was happy. Well, I didn't. I'll get to the ending in a minute. The episode was good. Moff Gideon was great. I mean, he was my favorite of the whole of this whole season. And it's a crime how little of them we actually got. But
the way his voice sounded in that suit, oh my god, I actually got chills.
So I was going to say,
there was definitely some Darth Vader comparisons.
Oh yeah, like that. They knew exactly what they were doing with the green and red lights on the chest and the shiny black armor. They knew exactly what they were.
I mean, especially when he put the helmet on, he's like, "I'll deal with them myself." I'm like, that's a Darth.
Well,
Vader.
That was a very Darth Vader moment, right?
Yeah, the cape. He walked out. I'm like, "Oh God, here it goes. Here it goes."
He even had like the hands that had the robot assisted. You hear like a choo, like whenever he would make a fist or whatever. I mean, they went full on Darth Vader with this dude.
Is that why he was like ragdolling people? Because I'm like, there's no way Moff Gideon is that damn.
Go back and watch it again. When he's fighting with Bo-Katan, you hear like mechanical noises as he's working his hands. I swear they did some kind of power glove assist thing. I mean, you could insert Nintendo Power Glove,
I was trying not to.
If you wanted to. But,
Nintendo Power Glove, it wouldn't have worked that well. We all know it wouldn't.
Right. But Moff Gideon, like, okay, obviously the battle for the Darksaber, when Moff Gideon and Bo-Katan are fighting.
Man.
Okay, obviously Bo-Katan was going to be defeated if Din Djarin didn't step in, right? So, let's just say for arguments, yes. Once again, we're going here because Star Wars is a bunch of idiots. They don't know how to write a linear timeline. So you have Moff Gideon fighting Bo-Katan for the Darksaber. Bo-Katan was about to lose. If he hadn't destroyed that and Din Djarin didn't help out, he would have won it back. But since let's say that same Darksaber survived and Din Djarin then helped Bo-Katan win, who owns the Darksaber? You see what I'm saying? I mean, there's problems here. Do you have like a playoff? I don't know. That's a whole different thing.
I know.
But the Grogu was great this episode. It was cool to see the Force powers developing. I mean, I kind of suspected something of the sort was going to happen because you've got Grogu there. You know, I am surprised that they cut up his robot body, you know, as soon as they did, because you know Disney's going to sell the crap out of that action figure and doll when it comes out. That's going to be everywhere.
That's going to be a great pop figure.
Oh, that's going to be a pop. That's going to be an action figure. That's going to be a stuffed animal. It's going to be in your lunchbox next week. I mean, it's probably already for sale if you check Disney or whatever.
I wasn't sure if I wanted the robot suit to be a thing long term or not. I'm kind of when it happened, I was like, okay, we're done with this now.
Right. Well, yeah, it was a short term gimmick, but you know they're going to sell the crap out of it when they do. That's what Star Wars is based off of, merchandise. But I mean, the episode was fun. I didn't like the ending. To me, well, it's a mixed bag. We just saw an episode where they're on this useless mission with Jack Black and Lizzo. Are we going back to okay? Obviously, the show going forward, Din Djarin is going to be the Obi-Wan figure to Grogu's Luke. You know, he's all about training in the Mandalorian ways. He has to go on his missions or whatever the armorer says, you know. That's going to be the point of the show going forward. So what they now have to focus on is keeping that as a tight storyline. Yeah, they're going to be on new planets and new worlds, earning his path, you know, learning the ways of Mandalore, blah, 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 whatever. But they're going to have to pay attention to not get caught in that Jack Black type episodes and get lost in the weeds here. That's what worries me the most. I don't mind Din Djarin moving into the Obi-Wan role because that fits the Star Wars mold. There's always a master and an apprentice. That's just the way that it is. But, you know, why did we waste so much time? Why did we only get 30-something minutes of this episode? They gave us 55 minutes about a cloning scientist kind of wanting to go back, and the episode was absolute garbage. The Jack Black episode was another 45 minutes that we could have had something more like this of. But this season is a season of filler and wasted opportunities. There were good episodes in here. We talked about all 8 of them. But I can't help but ask why. Why would you focus on so much of the negative stuff when you have such good stuff to offer? You know what I'm saying? I mean, does this make any sense?
Yeah.
For the most part, yeah.
I mean, if we could get 20 more minutes of Mandalorians fighting Moff Gideon, why do we need Jack Black? Can somebody tell me that? You know,
I don't know.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, I don't know how much money Jack Black and Lizzo got, but let's take their money and let's put it towards the budget of making chapter or episode 8, this epic, you know, hour-and-a-half long episode of just this battle for Mandalore. Just go full on out with it. Don't rush it into 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It could have been so much cooler. You know, drag it out a little bit more. You know, accentuate the positives and hide the negatives. But we get an hour-long episode about, you know, a former cloner that's trying to reform that didn't even really lead to anything at the end, because all the Moff Gideon clones get, you know, as far as we know, they're gone. I'm sure he'll pop up another at some point because, you know, how many other clones were there? We don't know. But I mean, we'll see.
Well, we still gotta have what?
I said we assume that we're going to see Moff Gideon pop. We assume we're going to see Moff Gideon pop up again.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
we saw
I brought this up.
Destroyed. So, right. And then we see Moff Gideon, things end the way they end for him. He gets engulfed by that fire that we see Grogu protecting Mom and Dad from. So
Right.
I mean, it would be unfortunate if they didn't try to use Moff Gideon more in the future, because he is a great bad guy for this series.
Well,
Now, would he
Maybe we'll see.
the Empire? Probably not, but he's great for this series. You know what I mean?
Maybe he did have one that was successful that ended up having the Force, and the Force, the Force does give things life. Maybe it kept one of them alive. Force does. I can't believe I'm really about to say this, but I mean, it is kind of how this is set up in the first place. But the Force does work in mysterious ways. It maybe could have kept one alive. You don't know.
Well,
Maybe
not even just that, but go off of the, think about the conspiracy theory that's out there on Twitter right now about this, about how all the Moff Gideon clones, and this is, I don't believe this, I'm just putting this on the show because it's kind of funny, but, the whole, all of those clones didn't have the mustache. That was this version. How do we know that the version that we saw die wasn't a clone himself and just didn't realize it?
That's what I was going to say. I'm like, see, the problem is,
you know what I mean?
When you introduce something into a series, I mean, that something that has cloning, it's like, yeah, but then I just can't believe anything that's ever, you know what I mean? It's
they just added a MacGuffin that they can use for 5 more seasons if they wanted to.
I know we're saying that
that
about a fake science fiction series, but I mean, I know,
right?
Yeah, but a lot of the cloning was to set up some of what we got in the new trilogy, because remember, it's pretty obvious that the stuff that Pershing was working on was essentially what led to Palpatine being cloned and him being eventually revealed as the bad of the new trilogy. So a lot of this, some of this, remember, because this all takes place before that, so a lot of this is just set up for what we would eventually get in the future of this universe, which we've already seen in the new trilogy. So maybe there's more, maybe there isn't. We don't really know. I don't know.
I think the thing I saw on TikTok, someone brought up a pretty good point. The main reason why people hate the sequel series is because when you have originally 3, but then you have 6 movies talking about the timeline of Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker again. That there is this prophecy that he is the chosen one who is meant to bring balance to the Force. And ultimately he does. He defeats the Emperor, and in doing so dies a hero. He gets rid of, he kind of sacrifices himself in a way.
Hell, you could argue he brought peace to the Force, even winning it for the dark side.
That's what I mean.
Depending on how you want to look at it.
That's what I mean. Like, so now that had all been taken care of at the end of Return of the Jedi, which, by the way, has come back to theaters this year for its 40th anniversary. I'm so pumped. I want to see that.
Nice.
That's cool.
It is. I'm so excited. That was one of my favorites of the 3 was Return of the Jedi. So, weird shameless plug. I don't work for Lucasfilm, or not. Wow, I don't work for Disney, so I wouldn't be here doing this. No offense, but I wouldn't be doing this if I worked for Disney. Sorry. I'll put your names in. I promise. But anyway, back to the point the guy was making. It's like you had that whole storyline, and that's what was to defeat Emperor Palpatine. He, brought peace to the galaxy, and then you just go ahead and reclone him. So now and have Rey defeat him, kind of. So now it's like, well, that was pointless. That means that wasn't even true in the first place. That just kind of throws a whole middle finger to your entire story and narrative of this one guy being the chosen one who, and I guess in a roundabout way, eventually brought, balance like he was told to do, or foretold to do, sorry. And then you just have, like I said, you just have Mary Sue come along with her little fun stick lightsaber. And that actually wasn't even hers, it was Princess Leia's. And then it just throws a middle finger to that whole narrative. I'm like, well, yeah, that seemed kind of pointless, didn't it? I don't know. I know. I said we want more of an explanation we took that one line, somehow Palpatine returned, and now we're like, here's why. I'm like, cool, but I still feel like that's a kind of a cheap thing to do.
Well, and, I mean,
good, but otherwise, no.
See, they could do I know they probably won't do this, but you could make 2 shows out of this. You could branch off Din Djarin and Grogu, and they're out in their space adventures, right? They're doing their own thing. And then you could have Mandalore as a show. I would actually be interested in seeing a show that is strictly dedicated to the process of rebuilding Mandalore, just focusing on that. Disney's always looking for content. I can't be the only one that's thought of this. I mean, because if Din Djarin and Grogu are out on Tatooine rescuing Jar Jar Binks from whoever, I don't know, make it up from there. There's a lot happening on Mandalore that you could strictly focus on, and it would be a good show. There's a lot they can do with this. Now, if they can nail it down or not, we'll see. But I think this show's going to have even less focus going forward if they're focusing on Bo-Katan and the armor rebuilding Mandalore over here, while Din Djarin is off flying around in space, letting Grogu learn his missions and his whatever.
Well, both those things can exist at the same time, though.
Right, but yes, they can, but it's. But I mean,
they can even coexist for the same ends. Like, sure, Din and Grogu have to be out doing their missions, but while they're doing that, they can also be doing stuff to help grow Mandalore, help do things that is going to help Bo-Katan, rebuild Mandalore, that kind of thing. So, I mean, those two things can happen at the same time. Maybe not, even kind of interchangeably. So, I mean, it's possible. Like I said, I don't know what their plans for season 4 are. I would imagine it's going to be something like that. But
you know what I think they should do? They should call up Danny Trejo and Boba Fett and give them some Rancors to ride. Hell yeah.
Well, like I said, Din Djarin is now he's no longer a featured character. It's Bo-Katan. It's Grogu.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just the stepdaddy. He's like I said, he's the Obi-Wan of this. So they've took the reins away from him. I mean, Katie Sackhoff, she better be ready to carry this load because it's on her now. It's on Grogu now. It's not Din Djarin's show anymore.
You can't tell me that little shot there, though. That little cabin out in the middle of nowhere didn't give you some like old Ben vibes. It kind of looked like his little.
That's what I'm saying. They put him out to pack. That's him. He might as well be in a recliner right there with a glass of lemonade with a big straw to put under that helmet because that's what that is right there.
Plucking a space banjo. Yeah.
He just got put out to pasture. He's
I big time disagree with that because even the conversation that he has with Carl Weathers' character, he even says, "Here's this little piece of land for you to relax or lay low during your in between adventures." So right now, him sitting there on the seat of that thing, he's not retired. Right. He's just between adventures. He's just recovering from retaking Mandalore, and then whatever. If the New Republic wants to give him some jobs to do, or if he gets some other whatever, he's going to be fine. Right now, he's just killing time until the next adventure because this one's over. So I don't think there's something pasture at all.
I don't know. I got a bad feeling. You're going to get it. You're going to get a lot more Jack Black type episodes with Din Djarin than you are good ones at this point. I think they've gotten. He's no longer the lead of the show, and this is what launched Disney Plus was The Mandalorian, was Din Djarin. I mean, we can't forget that. The story's moved past him now. It's Grogu and Bo-Katan show.
Are you saying it's the house that Mando built?
It pretty much. I mean, if it wasn't for the Mandalorian,
WandaVision came way before this. WandaVision is, if you're going to say anything built Disney Plus, for one, it's got a Disney logo.
Yeah, but Mandalorian was a lot better.
They didn't really build the house. She opened that deed, and my heart broke in fucking two. When it,
but
I'm like, no, damn it.
Mandalorian was a lot better received than WandaVision was. I could argue.
No, I liked WandaVision a lot.
No, WandaVision's still pretty much one of the best things that Marvel's done, and a lot of people think that.
I don't. I'm not saying.
I would disagree, Tex. WandaVision. Let me tell you, I'm just starting to get into Marvel. I'd never seen more than anything Thor and Iron Man when I started hanging with these two guys. Before you even existed in our world, you were a little baby.
Nice.
I was a little baby.
Little baby Jesus.
I must have came to that cloning period pretty fast to get to where I am now.
Right. So, your name.
I mean, for what it's worth, Man of Satan agrees with you. He says, "I can't stand Mandalorian now that Pedro is being sidelined. I've got nothing against Katie Sackhoff, but her character is kind of an anti-hero."
No, I'm not saying
anti-heroes.
Kind of.
Well.
Look, they're bounty hunters. They're bounty hunters, and bounty hunters by
morally ambiguous
are not exactly guys, they're a little ambiguous. They take money to do whatever. So they can take money from me to do this thing against this group 1 minute, and then as soon as that job is done, they take money from this group to do something to me the next minute. They're not really, I mean, morally, they're a little ambiguous. They're not really committed to anybody. So they're kind of all anti-heroes, really. But for the purpose of the show, they're the protagonists. But they're in the report, they're kind of.
Let's not forget what did Moff Gideon say whenever he was battling Bo-Katan? You Mandalorians, you're nothing without your trinkets, and he's right. I mean, they're kind of anti-heroes that if you pay them enough, they'll do whatever. And the only reason they can hang is because they've got the trinkets, as Moff Gideon said. Even though he's using their trinkets against them,
that's going to say. To be fair, he was saying that in a suit of Beskar armor.
Right? I know. Like, that's what. Well, as he was saying that, I laughed out loud because I'm like, dude, you're using the same trinkets, you idiot. But
we could have done.
Some very cool trinkets. But,
we could have done Cap and Iron Man. Let's take away that suit. What are you? It's like, well,
right? Yeah, that's literally what it was. But I don't know. I think I got a bad feeling going forward. We're gonna get more Jack Black type episodes with Din Djarin, but now he's going to be the true stepdaddy role that stepdaddy Pedro. He can't get a show where he's the feature anymore. It's all about the kid. He needs to go on shows where there is nobody under 18 years old, so he might be the star going forward because he's screwed.
To be fair, in part 2 of The Last of Us, there's kind of a reason why the kid is the star, but
right. Yes, obviously if you know, it's one of those things.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But he's going to be dead on one show, and he's going to be sipping iced tea on the porch on the other one. So just saying.
Sipping blue milk on the range.
Yeah. Excuse me. He's going to have some Luke Skywalker blue milk on his front porch there with Carl Weathers, and then that they're going to be doing their old man handshakes like it's
Actually, speaking of Carl Weathers, can we talk about how they kind of bait and switched me a little bit when he said like, "Oh, I want that IG-11 helmet right there." I'm like, are they going to rebuild the suit? No, we're going to finally tie that up and give him a new Marshal, which is that damn IG-11 file. I was like, oh, we did do it. I thought we were going to give Grogu a new toy.
I was fine with that. I was wondering.
I was kind of okay.
It was a fun little thing for a couple of episodes, him rolling around in his own little robotic suit. But I don't know if it had to go away at some point because right now the way it stands, we're at some point going to see Grogu getting fitted for a helmet, and would he be able to wear that helmet and still roll around in his little robot? I don't know. I don't think it would have worked.
I feel like they could have armored out the thing, given him some weapons. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. They could have.
Is he going to be able to Is he still going to be able to do cute little backflips while like just pissing off these Praetorian guards because they can't catch him because he's sitting there just running around in his circles? He was having a ball, and I thought that was great. Oh man,
that was pretty fun. But
I don't know.
We did get a return of the Praetorian guards, by the way. Another pretty dope fight scene that I thought was pretty good. It took Grogu and Din Djarin to take care of these guys. They are every bit as badass as they've been in every iteration of
they're sweet
Star Wars movies anyway that I've seen. But that was a pretty dope fight scene as well. What did you guys think of the ending of Moff Gideon? Is he gone?
I don't think so.
Is he still around? Is there a clone? What do you guys think?
Here's the thing. Those suits, especially if that's a more up-to-date recent set of armor that he has, right? And this is Star Wars. You have cybernetic enhancements. You have all kinds of crap that can keep people alive for no reason. You know what I mean? And when we saw when Disney decided to cherry pick a story because they knew it was going to be good because it hadn't been already written by someone else, but whatever. When Boba Fett crawled, I'm still mad about that. The reason he lived being thrown into the Sarlacc pit is because, his armor was still intact down there. It's like, that shit's hard to destroy. So it stands to reason he's kind of encased in this. Well, not fully, I don't think. I think it was like kind of sectioned armor, right? You had the helmet and the chest piece and the arms. I don't know if it was like a full suit of armor. But
they all have sectioned armor, because I was wondering as I was watching this, I was like, he hits Din Djarin with the flamethrower thing, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, the Beskar armor can probably put up with that, but I'm like, he's got his cape on, which I'm assuming is made of fabric.
I think it got burned. Yeah.
Is it?
I thought the same thing.
It's like that level of flame that he's getting hit with, and not even at one point, but at like 3 or 4 different points of that whole final sequence where he's rolling through all these guards, he's rolling up like doing Moff Gideon, doing the Praetorian Guard, stuff like that. He gets pretty much engulfed in fire like 3 or 4 times, and this cape is not even smoking when it's done. I'm like, is this like a vibranium thing with Wakandans? It's like a
ballistic reef.
There's Beskar fiber. I mean, is that what we're looking at here? I mean, come on. I
Mandalorians versus them. Oh, that's the crossover right there. The Mandalorians versus the Wakandans in a war. We just need to. Let's see if we can get the reality stone back from Marvel, we can cross these things over.
Well, okay. Well, then what outlasts what? You got Beskar,
right?
Well, hold on. You got Beskar, you got vibranium, but we also have not vibranium. Jesus Christ. The shit that's inside Wolverine, the
adamantium.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it earlier.
See,
I was
like, if you got Cap and Logan into a fight, I'm like, I don't know how that would play out.
So
if he tries to swipe his shield, it's like, well,
you're telling me I can have Black Panther versus Wolverine versus Boba Fett, and Disney hasn't made this already? Are you freaking kidding me? Come on now.
This is why we don't work. We have such great ideas. But anyway. I get what he's saying. I mean, because like you realize this I mean, that's the other nice part about this armor is I'm like, these people went to war with the Jedi, and they won.
Right.
You know what I mean? This armor is no joke, or this substance is no joke. When you watch them, like, yeah, you can sit there and take shots. I mean, it is like getting hit. Like when you have body armor on, I'm like, you may live, but yeah, you can tell he's like he's getting hit. He's like you got to fight through it. I'm like, it's still getting shot. Obviously, you know you're gonna live. However, I mean, it's not. You're not like completely invincible. But I mean, that's where my point was going. Is I don't know. He's kind of protected in this armor.
You know, this would be a good. Well, number one, the minute clones are introduced, there's always a chance that there's more. You know, we don't know if all of them were destroyed. Number two, let's say the armor saved him. They now have their opportunity to have Darth Vader 2.0. Well, let's say that fire that he was in sealed him in that suit, and he can't come out of it or he dies, just like Darth Vader did. You know, you can still, you know, because I know Pedro Pascal, he doesn't do the physical suit work. He just does the voice work, right? You can do the same thing with Giancarlo Esposito. He could just voice the character from now on. And you keep that character in the helmet. You keep him in the chest.
If you make it even more like rough sounding, like, you know, since he's been through like fire.
Right.
Like I said, that voice just alone was like terrifying.
Right.
I mean, like,
let's say contract negotiations break down. They don't want to pay him anymore. Okay, just come voice, you know, come in for the week and, you know, read these lines off, and we have, you know, Stuntman B go film the suit just like we do with Din Djarin or whatever. You can have him alive. Obviously we know Thrawn is coming, right? He's coming in the Ahsoka show or whatever, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe he's dead for now. Maybe if Thrawn doesn't go over as big as, you know, they think he will, Moff Gideon can come back. But this does open the door. I mean, think about it. Last week we talked about how soon do they get rid of Moff Gideon, you know, considering Thrawn is coming. Well, they answered our question for us pretty quickly. But, I mean, we'll see.
It took me a long time to accept the fact that, you know, Darth Maul didn't actually die. And I'm like, yeah, as cool as he is, I'm like, screw you, shut up. He died in episode 1. Stop talking to me. There's a show. I don't care. He's dead. Shut up. Move on. And I'm like, you know how hard they fought to just keep this one fucking person alive and still going in these shows? And I'm like, fine, whatever. Give him the stupid robot spider legs because I know you all loved that. Just whatever. You can keep people alive in this universe. You know, we saw what's her name get shot in the stomach and left for dead on, I think it was Tatooine, because there's no other planet we go to anymore. And she got some cybernetic enhancements and she lived. I'm like, yeah, it's a Star Wars. You can do that. If you can give a whole Vespa gang of people like cybernetic enhancements, that's their whole shtick. I mean, whatever. I didn't forget about the Vespa people. You didn't either.
That's just what I'm saying is
That's the gang.
The
I'm gonna make vests like a big back patch of that.
What they do with this show next, I think, is really going to
make or break. Yeah.
Weigh heavily on the rest of the Mandoverse or whatever they call. Because I know, like, who was it in the chat there earlier that had agreed with me? I don't like Din Djarin becoming a backup player in his own show. I don't like that. I mean, yeah, I know Grogu, he's the moneymaker now. But this was built on The Mandalorian. And who did they show you when they said The Mandalorian but Din Djarin himself? If they sideline him like they have this season, it's going to hurt him, I think, in the long run. I really do.
Hey, actually, did he not take his helmet off this whole season?
He did not, actually. That's what I was thinking as I was watching this episode.
Yeah.
It seems like every season prior, his helmet has come off at one point. And when he was fighting Moff Gideon, I really thought that might be a point where I was like, well, this might be where we see it. Moff Gideon's going to rip his helmet off and be a dick. And he's going to make Din Djarin maybe – well, I mean, it would have been easier for him to go the whole –
I was going to say, he's already on the planet. Didn't go too far.
Walk over there, yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, I thought that might be the moment. He didn't. I mean, it would have been interesting to see, but, whatever.
I thought maybe when Grogu was, like, trying to heal him or something, like in that last time, he had to take his helmet off to be healed. I don't know.
Yeah, what was the shit he was spraying on him anyway?
I don't know. I thought, well, because wasn't that what happened the first time? Like when wasn't that the IG-11 that had to save him and he had to spray him with that shit and he had to take the helmet off to be able to help him? I don't know.
I don't know. I'd have to go way back to like season 1 to even remember that.
We have that phrase in shit like Resident Evil, whatever. It's Star Wars. It's probably something similar.
Probably
also, what was that little thing? I think like it's like Grogu, and then that like mythosaur had like a moment. I know it's a big living being. It's obviously got a lot of, he's connected with the Force. He knows it's down there. Like they have like Grogu kind of look in the water, and all of a sudden we just zip down and you see it like open its eye. I'm like, what was that?
I thought maybe it was just Grogu kind of looking at his own reflection, and maybe it was like a metaphor for him kind of seeing the journey ahead of him. And then it goes down deeper in the water, and you see the mythosaur, and you see his eye open, and that's where it cuts out. But
yeah, I was like, okay,
because I mean, obviously the mythosaur is going to play a pretty big part going forward. I mean,
I hope so.
Yeah, we got a taste of him. What, last episode when they were on Mandalore that was the mythosaur that came out of the ground and smashed that ship, right?
No, that was something else, I think.
Oh, I don't know. You know what? Honestly, I just thought that was a mythosaur. So obviously, the mythosaur is going to, but still, the mythosaur is going to play a big part.
It's got to
in season 4. So I mean,
because that transition between scenes was they went from his face to like that little symbol on the banner. I'm like, right, that's him.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I don't know. There's a whole lot. But what did you guys think of like the epilogue of the episode? I mean, obviously, Mandalore is now more secure with the actual Mandalorians. They're going to start to rebuild. The whole scene with them lighting the forge, I thought was really, really cool, very metaphorical. The chanting of the Mandalorians saying "for Mandalore" and things like that. I thought the epilogue was pretty exciting to watch. It's nice to see that this universe is growing the way that Star Wars, I think, should grow away from Han, Luke, and Leia, and even like Rey and her whole group of people. I thought the epilogue was really, really cool. I'm interested to see more of the Mandalorian people, whether it be in this or something else. I mean, did that whole epilogue part work for you, Jeremy? Because I thought it was really exciting. It got me really jacked up for what season 4 is going to be.
Yeah, I'm glad the one who was able to yell for Mandalore's axe wolves. I thought that fucker was going to die. I really did. He was about doing some Laura Dern type shit right there. I'm like, don't you dare, don't. Oh no, he was just sitting there holding up on the chair like when that ship was going down. I'm like, what are you doing, man? And I'm like, well, she's not a Mandalorian. I mean, she can't. Well, and that was also light speed. You can't do anything about that. But he busted the window out and flew out. I was like, oh, thank Jesus. Also, can we talk about the fact that man flew into space? Hello.
Yeah, that was one of the questions that I had.
I didn't. So, I was more so like, are we doing this? I'm like, I get it, the suit and it's pressurized and he has a rocket, whatever. I'm like, but
I'm
like, what? Holy shit!
They run out of fuel flying to save one of their kids, but you can fly into space. Seriously? Like that's my first thought. I'm like, okay, he's in the upper atmosphere. Okay, he's in the clouds. At any moment, it's going to sputter and he's going to fall. This is what I'm waiting on. And then he just makes it in with that. I mean, the plot armor was strong on this episode.
That was smart armor for sure, yeah.
You know, I mean,
I'm not going to say it wasn't badass when they left the ship all at once to go into their smaller ones and dip down on the planet. I'm like, yeah. Well, you see that one kind of slip. I thought, wait, are we doing some space bullshit? It was just normal gravity climbing in. I'm like, one kind of slip. I was like, oh, right. Okay.
They made it a plot point early in the season of saying, we run out of gas in our jetpacks flying to save kids from a pterodactyl, but we're going to fly into a Star Destroyer just fine.
Maybe it was a cool day. Maybe there was playing on Mandalore. I don't know.
No, I'm calling shenanigans. I don't. Whatever.
Might have been the week to fill up, and they just got a bad time.
Like I said, I say it all the time. Just sometimes you just turn your brain off and say, "Yep, that
was."
Yeah.
Well.
I don't know.
It worked for them it worked for the good guys to win. That's all I really care about. The hows and whys. I'm not gonna wrap my head around it all.
Like, I guess to answer your question, it seemed like everyone kind of got their. We're in some good places. Like they're on Mandalore. They got the Forge restarted. They have their plan to live on. It's obviously not completely liberated. They've probably got some stuff to still take care of to completely take control of, but they got their foot in the door. That's cool. Mando's just sitting on the front porch with Grogu going frog gigging on.
He's got his blue milk and his sun hat over his Mandalorian helmet out there. Grandpa, Grandpa Jardin. That's what he is now. So that's what it is.
Yeah, seems like everybody's in a good place. So I'm like, well, what's gonna happen? We're gonna see like a mangled robot, or not robot, but a hand come out of the flames. It's gonna be Moff Gideon.
Right.
I don't know if Cora's all caught up on the season or not, but Cora, do you have any thoughts on this? We've been kind of waxing philosophically about this episode so far for a while now. I mean,
it makes me want to finish season 1 and watch season 2 and then watch season 3.
Well, watch them. They're good.
That'll make sense.
The first 2 seasons are good. 3 has good moments, but it's overall for me. I don't know.
I have to be honest. I think I'd rewatch WandaVision before I finish Mandalorian.
I don't understand why this season got the kind of hate that it did, because every TV show evolves. You know what I mean? Because if this is the same TV show over and over again, that's when things get. It's like Friends. To me, I don't understand why that show. I mean, Jennifer loves it. My stepdaughter loves it. And it's funny. It's got funny parts, but I mean, it was the same show from episode 1 to the last episode. And to me, those kind of shows get tired. They have to evolve a little bit in story. They have to evolve a little bit in character. And I think they've done that by adding people like Bo-Katan, by adding people like, giving a little bit more screen time to people like Carl Weathers' character and all that. What's her name? I don't know, blank the damn name, because that's another thing I want to mention real quick before we get out of here. Is what's her name? David? Elia Kane. It's like by adding people like that, but it's like I don't understand why people have hated on this season so much. I thought it's been good Star Wars. I mean, because there are some things that I expect from a Star Wars property that if you can give me those things, I'm excited. This thing, for at least the first 2 seasons, has been kind of the space western. It's going to be that lone gunman doing his thing, but the lone gunman always gets wrapped up into a bigger thing, and that's what's been happening to Din Djarin over the course of these 3 seasons. I don't know. It was good for me. I've liked it as much as I've liked the first 2 seasons. I don't get why it gets the hate. I mean, Jeremy, what do you think? Was this season really so bad that the viewership needed to drop the way it did?
I don't think it was bad. I mean, I still enjoyed it. It isn't. I mean, it isn't the same show from season 1 or maybe even season 2. But like you said, I mean, it's always getting. You got. He's kind of the Matt Dillon now. You just get caught up in some crap, and now you got to go clean up the town. I don't know. So there's gonna be something. I'm still wondering, like, if they do any more Boba Fett, like what's gonna happen with that? Like, what's gonna happen to him? What's gonna happen to Timothy Oliphant's character? Last time we saw him, and he got shot. So, and there was something I was gonna. Oh yeah, and I'm glad you brought up Kane. I was like, oh crap, what's she gonna do now? Now that she knows like her, her big boss man kind of got fried to a crisp. So, what's she gonna do now?
Well, that's the other thing that we're probably going to see more of is the Shadow Council. I mean, we know they exist. We know they're there, and Moff Gideon is apparently out of the way now. you believe that he's actually dead. So does Elia Kane go to work for her or go to work for them? Was she actually working for the Shadow Council all the time? And Moff Gideon was just the one she was reporting to. I mean,
Maybe.
Hopefully her character expands a little bit because I think she makes a good villain.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be a lot of fun to kind of explore that a little more in the next season. I don't know. Tex, did it deserve the ratings? Was this season really all that bad?
I think there was a lot of filler, and a lot of people were disappointed considering how good the first 2 seasons were. I think by comparison,
pure trash.
Right. Well, that 6th episode, that the one that like I said, that one where the former cloning doctor, he got an hour to just do nothing. That I hated that episode. That took down the whole season for me, and I saw a lot of people who felt the same way.
It does look more like that was put in there just to explain how the new trilogy happened.
Yeah, but
because it's like, yeah, okay, we know he cloned himself. I don't really need to see the background on that. I already know that he did. Do I really need
right.
to? If it would have been more closely tied to what Moff Gideon was doing, that would have made more sense. I agree.
Right, and I also think, and I mean, this is just something new, but this season needed more Moff Gideon. If maybe in episode 6, his ship was found wrecked like we saw in space. And then in episode 7, he came back. Go back 3, 4, 5, whatever. More Moff Gideon, the show would have been better off. Like I said, I wouldn't call this season bad. I would say it was a lot of filler, and expectations were so high from the past 2 seasons that it looked bad by comparison, if I had to put it out there.
I don't know. I'm kind of happy with the way the show has evolved at this point. Because like I said, it couldn't just
I'll probably never watch this season again, I'll be honest. I'll probably never see this one again.
I'll probably cherry pick. Like I said, the last 2 episodes were absolutely fucking fire. I loved them. I mean, and if I'm going to go pick and choose episodes here or there to watch, I mean, the last 2 episodes I will. 6 episodes, no. I mean, just no. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't understand why it got so much hate. I mean, yeah, did it stumble a little bit? A little. It kind of changed direction a little bit. But I don't understand the hate that this season got from some people. I just personally think that, look, Star Wars fans particularly can be assholes.
Yeah.
And look,
it's a very hard fan base to please. I agree.
Well, every fan base can be hard to please. It's like, I mean, we've seen it in DC. I mean, look at all the shit that DC's gotten from one angle or another. I mean, even people in Marvel, even though, I mean, yeah, Phase 4 has not been great, but overall, Marvel's been fantastic, but people still shit on Marvel. I mean, fan bases, period, is toxic, but this one, I don't understand some of the toxicity that got. It didn't make sense to me. I just thought maybe it was people just wanted to be assholes on the internet. Probably even people that aren't real Star Wars fans. I mean, there's a lot of, like, 15-year-old keyboard warriors out there that weren't even alive when the prequels came out. All they know is the new trilogy, which the last 2 movies weren't great, so they feel a little jaded because they didn't get the original trilogy. They didn't get to see the prequel trilogy even. All they know is Rey and Finn and all those guys. They don't really know the entire universe the way people like us who have seen all the movies and watched all that stuff do. So, and they know something. Dude, you don't know shit about this.
Guess what, kid? I grew up with the prequels, and that was not a good time for a long time. So trust me. This is the millennial me coming out because I'm like, everything was our fault. We're ruining everything. Everything's bad for us. And now I'm sitting back and laughing. I'm like, now it's your fucking problem. Now it's your fault because you're the new generation. You're the new generation. Now it's your problem. I'm gonna sit back and laugh at you.
Well, see, that's the thing.
When the world takes a shit on your head now. See, it's that easy.
Even as the prequels were coming out, the Star Wars prequels got me into Star Wars. I had seen the original trilogy before that, of course. I still say the prequels are the best Star Wars for me. I'm not saying they're the best out of all of them, but if you had a gun to my head and said you have to watch Star Wars, what's it going to be? I'm watching episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah,
I like those. Or excuse me, the 4th, 5th, and 6th Star Wars movies, episodes 1, 2, and 3. I still get that wrong every time I try to say it. It's so freaking weird. Right? Yeah. The comparative.
A lot of the people that defend the prequel are like 4, 5, and 6 is really where it's at in Star Wars.
I grew up with that as a kid. I'm like, but I still know that 4, 5, and 6 are objectively better. Like
no Star Wars will ever be as good as the original trilogy, no matter what they do. That you can't touch that with a 10-foot pole. But I mean, new Star Wars is so. I mean, I'm not the most passionate fan. I don't. If it wasn't for this show, I probably wouldn't have watched Mandalorian, to be honest with you. But I did it because I like to talk about things. I like the conversation. That's what I get out of stuff like this. And like I said, this season was, there. When you look at the good and the bad moments, for me, there was more moments than good.
You know what? At least it wasn't the holiday special.
That's true.
I don't know that 6th episode is comparatively bad. I could argue that it's on at least equal footing. I could argue that.
All I had to do was break out into singing, and it probably would have been on a par for no reason.
I'm surprised Jack Black didn't do it because everything he does, he has to have a song. True. So, I mean, it is, there was potential for singing.
He did. I've never been a big fan of Jack Black.
Be like, hey, have you guys ever celebrated? Pulls out like a little space mandolin, Life Day.
Yeah.
Like, damn it! No.
I could see.
Now look. The song "Peaches" from the Mario movie is absolute fire. And say what the hell you want, it is now the highest-grossing video game movie of all time. Eat me. Eat a mushroom.
Mario was better than either of the Sonic movies. I can confidently say that.
Well, that's
I did enjoy that.
Waiting for that cinematic universe, damn it.
Let's go ahead and start to wrap this thing up now. Thanks to all 16 of you who voted the poll, and 75% of you say you want to see Adam Driver join the MCU against 25% who say no. That's out of 16 votes. Thank you guys for voting. I personally, I think he can do a lot. I think he's a great actor. I think the MCU is going to be a good place for him. And let's face it, the MCU is going to have to stack up with some really good actors to start to rebuild into whatever's coming in the future of the MCU, because it doesn't show any signs of stopping. At least they don't want it to anyway. So reload with talent if you can't have Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans and all some of these guys back because they've gone away. So reload with talent. Driver's not a bad one to reload with. But that's where we're going to start to wrap things up. Thanks to all of you for coming out with me. We very much appreciate it. Lady Cora, where can the folks at home find you on the internet?
I'm allergic to the internet, except for your show. So, nowhere.
You don't have the vaccine and 27 boosters to the internet?
Dive it.
Me taking pokes at Cora there.
It's not good.
Your president told you to get him. You didn't listen. You're a bad citizen out there.
Bad touch. He's technically your president as well. I
seceded.
Trump wasn't mine.
I'm Texan only. I've already seceded. I don't know what you're talking about.
Show me the papers, as Dave Rose would say about this secession.
Oh, wait. Here you go. Oh, there it is right there. You see it?
It's a one-note song.
We're done.
He's not my president. I voted for Tiger King. Ha
Yeah, he voted for Joe Exotic, by God.
I did, damn it. And of course, my hair life mate Jared. What do you got going on?
Frank on the internet.
I'm getting there.
I'm stepping on me, damn.
Right now I'm talking to Jeremy. What do you got going on, sir?
Before I mute you, goddamn. Well, anyway, I was gonna say, I don't know why
hate flow through you.
I don't know why you're not voting for obviously the best president, which is President Loki. Because actually, that was my segue. I actually bought a whole bunch of new stuff for that cosplay. I'm still evolving it, so hopefully it looks a lot better. We got a con in like 2 weeks, so
cool.
Yeah, which we panicked. We were like, "Oh crap, it's in 2 weekends." Shit. We kept talking. Yeah, we should go. Oh shit, it's in the first weekend of May. Crap. So, I got some more stuff because like there's stuff that's like really specific. Like that tie bar is like a really specific looking thing, and I'm like, I don't have that, so I need to get one. I got a better looking green tie. I'm actually going to take some stuff and try to do the jacket a little better. I actually got some dress shoes, so I quit wearing skate shoes because you see as the cosplay goes down, it kind of the effort kind of goes out the window.
Right.
So yeah, there's some cosplay stuff going on. And I actually was thinking about doing. I bought this. I rebought this video game that I bought when it came out. I think maybe like 5 people in the world played it, including myself. which is Walking Dead related. So maybe I'll do that. I don't know. I know. I said I would. Yeah, I know what they were trying to do, but it was like, oh my god, no one likes this game, especially when you got one of Walking Dead that was actually so much better. But whatever.
Is it the Telltale or the one based off of Merle and Daryl Dixon?
The one based off of Daryl and Merle.
I played that one, actually. I guess I'm one of those 6 people that played that. Holy crap.
Sweet, there were 6. It was me and Tex and 4.
Hey, I got Zombie Merle on my shelf right over there. I can show him off if I need to. I'm a fan. All right.
If I had they're right there. But if I had my keys, like my keychain that I've had, my car keys, house keys, all that crap, what has been on that key ring for these last 10 years has been the little pre-order, which was one of those little ears that Daryl wears around his neck. It was a keychain of the ear. Like that has been on my keychain for like the past 10 years. I still have it. It's still kicking. And I'm like, I remember it was that. Nice. Also, nice. Also, spoiler, Rachel hasn't even seen that, so thanks for ruining that. I was really like, wow.
If you haven't seen it by this point, the show's over. You can't blame me anymore, Rachel. That one's on you. Don't be lazy. So.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen anything of Game of Thrones, and it's over. Who cares? I should have seen it by now. Whatever. So, I know. That's how I felt about it. That could have been a dream sequence. You don't fucking know. Who knows?
Right.
I mean, I did it with everybody with Negan. It's like, well, everyone could have got killed.
It's a custom figure. I made it myself, Jeremy. Don't you know? I made it myself. What are you talking about?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. You know nothing.
It's a chase variant. Anyway, speaking of zombie crap, yeah, I still need to set up my thing for Last of Us. But yeah, I might do that game because it's kind of a weird off game. And I was maybe gonna do a poll on like Twitter, which is where I'm also at. If I was to do a D&D-esque type playthrough of Fallout, which one should I do it on? 3 or New Vegas? I'm like, well, we're in Vegas. Let's roll the dice. Why not I just do New Vegas? That kind of makes more sense. So that's what I got going on. It's the name down there in the corner. You can see it right here. Being real meta. There it is. Right here. Can't move my fingers the right way. Whatever. That's the name on pretty much everything, except for TikTok. So don't find me there. I don't do shit on that either. What'd you say?
Yeah, me either. I don't even have TikTok.
Yeah. I made videos under like 3 or 4 years ago and like never made anything else. So
I have some news, Jeremy. I got a gaming laptop, and I'm gonna create a Steam account tonight.
Oh shit.
Uh-huh.
But that means I have to turn on cross-platform.
Gaming, hell yeah.
That means I have to turn on cross-platforming.
I have my PS5 in here, and I got an OLED monitor to connect to it.
Okay, never mind. Okay, she has a PS. Okay, we're good. I was like, I don't want to turn on cross-platform and have some fucking little dude who downloaded like $100 worth of mods just so he can snipe me because he can't do it for real.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Although they did just crack down on that, and that makes me laugh so damn hard. I'm like, but with how hardware and how crap goes and how quick people mod stuff, I'm like, there's already another device that probably does it, so whatever. But a big thing people were using to cheat with, it's like you plug it into your thing and it immediately says like this is not supported and this is your one warning, and after this you get banned. I'm like, oh boy.
So that's what Jeremy's got going on. And of course, our man from down south, the shape from the lowest heart state, our man Tex. What's going on, brother? Where can the folks find you on the internet?
Here on Thursdays and on Wednesdays, Corey and I, just as of yesterday, commandeered the Casey is Raw YouTube channel. That is now officially known as the Harsh Truth Light. That's the name of that channel going forward. So, yes,
well, since Frank wanted to do an After Dark on this show, then we need now.
Right. Well,
so there you go.
I figured. I was nice.
I texted Jeremy last night. Was like, jump on real quick so we can just fully take over the show for like 5 minutes.
Right. Well, that's why
you should have asked me. Yeah.
Why do you think I posted the link in our chat so we can take it over? But yeah. So, like I said, on Wednesdays I hang out over there on Harsh Truth Light, aka Casey is Raw channel. But this is a big weekend for horror. Tomorrow night, I need every one of you, this is required viewing, to go subscribe to Shudder, because the patron saint of horror from the Republic of Texas, Joe Bob Briggs, is back with season 5 of The Last Drive-In. So I want everybody within the sound of my voice to go subscribe over and support my man Joe Bob. And that's what I'm doing tomorrow night. So, and Evil Dead Rise comes out this weekend. I'm excited about that as well. So all hail to the king and praise Joe Bob, because you must praise Joe Bob. So that's what I'm doing.
Groovy.
I'm glad you mentioned Evil Dead Rise, because Derek Hanston sent in a tip earlier. He said, haven't been this excited for a horror movie in a very, very long time.
Oh, dude, I can't wait.
It has potential to be one of the all-time best. I'm going to try to go see it next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday.
I can't wait.
Wednesday. Hopefully I will be able to see it, and we'll be able to get a review schedule, because that's one of the ones that I'm really looking forward to.
Maggots now. I can't wait for
I watched the trailer again today just to watch it, because I was floating through YouTube, and the trailer popped up. It was like, watch this again. I was like, okay. And I clicked on it again, and I was like, it's so awesome. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that one. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll be able to get out of that here in the next week. Probably.
I will have thoughts on that one, I promise you. The Evil Dead franchise as a whole is probably the best overall, just from quality of movies. All of them have been good. Even Ash versus Evil Dead was good. Now, I know this is a different universe, but it looks great. So I really, really want this to be good. I'm excited for it. So yeah.
So Derek, thanks for sending the donation. We appreciate you, and don't worry, we will be talking about that one here very, very soon.
Oh yeah.
As for next week's show, a little bit different. Jeremy's probably taking that show off. Round 1 of the NFL draft. We'll be Tex, maybe a couple other people are going to be here Thursday. Probably going to be a long show. I'll be on a little bit before the first pick will go live, and I will 100% be there up until the last pick of the first draft, talking football. Probably a little bit of movie news, whatever really important stuff pops up between now and next week. But unless it's a really, really big story that pops up, next week's going to be all about the NFL draft. Once again, my Niners don't have a first-round pick until 2074 or some shit, because we got Trey Lance a couple years ago. So I will just be a spectator for this first round.
So you get to watch.
Next, we're going to be seeing what bust the Dallas Cowboys draft.
Hey, I think since Frank's team doesn't have a pick, he should have to wear a dunce hat or something that says Niner fan on it, just because his team doesn't have a pick.
How about a hat that says I voted for Biden?
Oh, that'd be even better. You should have to do that.
I'll take a pinch for making a stupid trade for Trey Lance, but I won't say anything else for Biden.
Hey, all I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? That's all I got to say. So
well, you'll be able to say that after that. It's going to go downhill from there. Eric's asking, what's your take on Trey Lance? I hope we trade him without giving him. I hope we don't trade him without giving him a chance. Well, I think you've got to give him this year. I don't think trading was a good idea, but we'll talk about that more next week. Derek Hansen also says that audience reaction to the early screenings is hyping me even more. I saw Christian Harloff did his out of the theater review of it over on his channel. You can check out Christian Harloff. He's one of the movie guys on YouTube that I like to watch. And he's not a big horror fan, but he actually said that the movie was very, very good. He enjoyed it a lot. You can go check out his quick review of it all you want.
Right.
But if somebody who was not a very big horror fan liked the movie and thought it was thought it was pretty good, then it's probably going to be pretty good. But that's all until next week. We will see you guys. Actually, we'll be back here. Saturday night, Tex? We're going to be doing the
Saturday night Cocaine Bear.
Finally breaking that one down, and then hopefully soon we'll get around to do Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey as well. I think that's going to be a lot of fun to do as well. Hopefully, I'll be able to hold that. I might have to find another idea, but I have no problem buying it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. But until next week, we'll see you guys later. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Adios.
See y'all later.
Bye.